news. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard, filling in for Manda Factor. Governor Bob Ferguson signed an amended emergency proclamation for Washington's wildfire disaster, waiving dozens of state laws to help victims across 7 counties and 3 tribal nations. For now, the governor has issued an order that suspends evictions, eliminates fees for replacement IDs and birth certificates, and removes the unemployment waiting period. Air quality around here is good, at least for now. The Puget Sound Clean Air Agency says last week's wildfire caused smoky conditions to reach unhealthy for sensitive groups. From police drones in Everett to school resource officers in Longview, more than $8 million in federal grants are headed to Washington law enforcement. The GOJ funds cover equipment, training, and personnel for the state and 10 cities and counties. And now let's get a check on the roads with KIRO Newsradio's Chris Sullivan.
All right, Katrina, we're off to a really good start on this Tuesday. We're looking at brake lights in just a couple of places, like if you're going northbound on I-5 and trying to tie into 405 at South Center Tukwila there, you're going to see a little braking, but overall 35 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. The Puyallup to Renton Drive, nice and easy, 35 minutes for you guys and nothing up the 405 corridor yet, only 15 minutes there. 30 minutes Olympia to Tacoma. Coming down from the north end, a quiet drive already at 35 from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. The lake bridges are in good shape. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
On this morning's edition of Start Here, an analysis of the disastrous earthquake in Colombia this week. Here's Holt's Brad Milkey.
You might remember back in June, a pair of earthquakes rocked Venezuela, 7.5 and 7.2. More than 4,000 people died. Well, then just a couple weeks ago, another quake, almost as strong, 6.8, hit Japan. There, fewer than 40 people died, which can show you how big the difference can be between the earthquakes themselves, the epicenters, where they're placed, and what kind of quake they are. But it also can tell you something about what the infrastructure is like around them. Remember, Japan and the U.S. have squadrons of engineers, encyclopedias of regulations, all designing buildings specifically around the big one. Well, yesterday, right next door to Venezuela, in Colombia, another quake hit. This was as strong or even stronger than the others, and already this morning, the death toll there is rising. Let's start the day with ABC's Trevor Alt, who's based in L.A. He knows something about earthquakes. Trevor, what is the latest?
Well, Brad, this has been very obviously devastating from the beginning now. The death toll is already well over 100, and we are expecting it to rise. So this happened around 7:30 in the morning local time, and it was in the western portion of the country, somewhat inland. It was closest to Colombia's third largest city of Cali, but it was kind of in the midst of a few different areas. And we know how wide these earthquakes can be felt when you're talking about hundreds of miles that are experiencing shaking. And we have seen dozens of buildings collapse on top of people. So we already know, according to local officials, that there's well over 100 people dead, that there are several young children who've been killed by this earthquake. And now, of course, as we've seen so frequently in the areas where a lot of the infrastructure is not built up to standards to withstand earthquakes, it's not simply over as soon as the earthquake is done. You now have this massive undertaking to try to find anybody who has survived in all of the rubble. When you're talking about buildings that have collapsed, they are very hopeful that they'll be able to dig out more and more survivors. But the longer this goes on, the harder that gets.
I was going to say, what does the rescue effort look like in sort of the early stages like this? Do we know?
At this point, it is all hands on deck safely, whatever you can pull apart from those different buildings. Right. Because as you know, when you are on unsound infrastructure, rubble really, any sudden movement, you risk burying more people or causing essentially a landslide of debris with all these buildings. So you have careful precision trying to pull these things apart, trying to listen carefully for anyone that might still be inside. But we're watching rescue crews digging with their hands in buckets in the midst of plumes of smoke and dust, trying to get out anybody that they can. But then you also, of course, Brad, you have issues with people getting treatment in the midst of all of this damage. We've seen videos of ambulances that are just getting showered with debris as hospitals are shaking too. That is its own problem here. So essentially it's the country of Colombia establishing what do we have that is still functional, who do we have who can still work and who can help, and then how do we make sure that they are pulling out as many survivors that they can while also not putting themselves at risk. And there are so many different precarious sites all over Western Colombia right now.
Really, this is a call for us as a community to come together and solve these types of situations that can happen at any moment.
It's an extremely difficult effort, but of course, every single minute counts when you're talking about rescuing a potential survivor buried under thousands of pounds of rubble.
Right, and I was talking to our science unit yesterday, being like, is this related to Venezuela? They said no, even though it's tempting to relate neighboring countries together. But remember, Colombia spans both the Pacific and the Atlantic coast, so it's on a whole different fault situation. But the common theme that you're afraid of seeing in the coming days is just how much devastation can be wrought when buildings are on sort of a different set of codes, when there's different resources involved. All right, Trevor Ault covering all this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad.
In recent days, the Department of Health and Human Services has been getting lots of questions.
Taylor Farms, the company linked to the record cyclosporiasis outbreak, tells us that it's recalling additional foods with jalapenos like guacamole and salsa.
First, there were questions about food. The agricultural giant, Taylor Farms, which now processes more salad products than any other company in North America, has issued a voluntary recall of more than a dozen products that contain jalapenos amid a growing salmonella outbreak. Remember, this is the same company that already issued a different voluntary recall of iceberg lettuce after a cyclospora outbreak.
What's being done right now to make sure our vegetables are safe? People have been very nervous.
When it comes to that, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has largely refused to answer ABC's questions, even at events devoted to food safety. But yesterday, when a senior advisor, Callie Means, spoke to ABC's Kara Phillips, he downplayed these concerns.
The American people are concerned about their kids being pre-diabetic, being obese, about the skyrocketing rates of chronic disease. And we are handling...
They're concerned about their vegetables too, Callie.
And if
Why
you have one statistic...
Are you denying that?
Absolutely not.
Do you think that Americans are not concerned about their vegetables?
I'm not denying that. I'm saying we have best in class because it is interesting and I think very noticeable to Americans that on a day we're talking about historic food policy reform, you are breaking your neck to talk about a couple diarrhea cases.
A couple of diarrhea cases. Of course, in actuality, we're talking about 22,000 cases across 47 states. But that's not the only area in which the Trump administration is fielding health questions.
Mr. President, you're a proud father. Would you have vaccinated your children differently based on the recommendations that
I did. I took my children for 5 different vaccinations. In other words, I broke it up.
Yesterday, President Trump also signed an executive order taking aim at the childhood vaccine schedule.
In many cases, we were requiring 72 jabs for our beautiful, healthy, lovely, delicate little children.
Specifically, this is about what diseases American kids should be immunized against and when they should get those shots.
You have the MMR. We want it in 3 separate vaccinations, given at separate times.
This order recommends they get fewer vaccines and further apart.
So we're reducing them. We're changing it to visits over a period of a year and a half. So they get 20% of what they would have gotten in one big shot.
With that, let's go to Dr. Richard Besser. He's the former acting head of the CDC. He is now the CEO of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. He's also our former chief medical correspondent. So good to talk to you again, Dr. Besser. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Brad.
Hey, before we get to your reaction to this announcement, can you just break down what it is? Like, what is the White House actually recommending, I guess?
The administration tried to do this back in January. What they're recommending is that the United States adopt a vaccine schedule that's very similar to what's being used in Denmark. And that would mean that there are 6 fewer vaccines that are recommended for routine use by all children. And from the perspective of a pediatrician, I'll add that to the list of things that I am. I practiced pediatrics for more than 30 years. This is a big mistake. It's a step in the wrong direction.
Why is that? Because I'm sure there are lots of parents that are like, wait, I don't see why my kid has to get a shot for Hep B before leaving the hospital, why they have to get, like a dozen shots within their first 6 months. Why don't we spread these out a little bit more?
So our vaccine schedule has evolved over a period of decades, and it's evolved with the input from experts in children's health, experts in infectious diseases, with the goal of keeping our children safe for as long a period of time as possible. It's absolutely miraculous. I practiced pediatrics for more than 30 years, and there was nothing I did as a pediatrician that had more proven value than helping to ensure that all the patients in my practice were fully vaccinated on time. And the reason why on time matters is that the early stage of life, children are vulnerable for quite a number of diseases. And so the sooner you can get them protected, the better.
Very importantly, vaccinations for hepatitis B, COVID-19, and influenza, among others, are no longer recommended for all children.
But it's always a conversation with parents in terms of what are their concerns, what do they want to do, and what do you recommend as someone who has some experience and expertise in children's health?
The MMR vaccines, that's measles, mumps, and rubella, that's always given as like one shot. This is the one case where he wants to have more shots, right? Where he's basically saying, hey, you get this cocktail of drugs mixed up in one shot. He invoked unproven or even medically disproven theories that at least one of these drugs could be linked to autism. What's your response to this recommendation?
First off, I think it's absolutely ludicrous. The MMR, the measles, mumps, rubella shot, has been given for decades and has been shown to be safe. Ask any child, hey, would you like to have one shot that protects you from 3 diseases? Or how would you like to come back every week and get 3 separate shots? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because the vaccine is highly effective as it's made. We don't even have available in this country separate shots, so they would have to do the testing to make those available.
I think I heard you say that the MMR vaccine for measles, mumps, and rubella is quite lethal. Is there any evidence of that?
What I've heard is that there are some people that say it is that way. And I say, well, let's say there's a 5% chance of it. Let's split it up.
The burden on families, parents have to take time off work to bring their children in for visits. And that's fine if there's a health reason to do so. But this is about politics and the Secretary of Health's unfounded belief that they're safer if you separate them. They absolutely are not.
Has the science changed or just the politics around the science?
The science is continually changing. And so, Congress put in place a process for evaluating science and making vaccine recommendations. There's a committee that is empowered to advise the CDC on vaccine recommendations. And that's the routine process. But back in January, the Secretary of Health said, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to issue a whole new vaccine schedule. Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics, which represents all pediatricians, went to court, and the court said, not so fast, that's not legal, you can't do that. Here they are again trying to do it by executive order. I don't think this will stand either.
Well, that's my other question. Is executive order, this is still a recommendation from, in this case, I guess like the White House, basically. It's not even the CDC, which I think puts out the sort of what we would consider like the recommendations. So how much weight does this actually carry at the end of the day?
I don't think it covers much weight. The American Academy of Pediatrics puts out a vaccine schedule, and I would recommend that if parents want to know what's truly recommended, look at that one.
Oh, not the CDC necessarily or the Trump administration. You'd say the Academy of Pediatrics at this point.
Yeah, I worked at the CDC for 13 years,
right,
and it absolutely breaks my heart. But I no longer recommend that people look at the CDC website for honest, evidence-based vaccine information. It's just not there.
Really high-stakes stuff here for so many families. Now, I think a lot of them wondering who to trust for that baseline information. Dr. Richard Besser, thank you so much.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Coming up, an update on the road to midterms. More on ABC's Start Here next.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, Don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Summer's a busy time for most businesses, and WaFd Bank is here to help you keep up. WaFd Bank has you covered with free business checking, business credit cards, credit lines, and other services to move your business forward. WaFd also offers payment processing, so customers can pay through a kiosk, a mobile app, or online for seamless transactions. And with so many options, WaFd Bank is quickly becoming an SBA preferred lender of choice, so you'll find the perfect fit to meet your goals. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit WaFdBank.com, member FDIC, loan subject to credit approval.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. Hey, Bob, you had a hip issue just like me. You went to see Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. What did he tell you?
You got a torn labrum, you got a frayed ligament, you've got arthritis developing. He said, this isn't going to fix everything, but it will go a long way. I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff beyond jiu-jitsu.
So, just like me, Dr. Wagner does stem cell on your hip. How you feeling now?
I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now.
So whether it's a shoulder, a hip, a wrist, knee, or elbow, before you choose surgery, see our friend, Dr. Wagner first. He'll tell you if stem cell is right for you. drmarkwagnermd.com. Make an appointment at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO Newsradio.
Back to the Start Here program. A look at the big races formulating as we inch closer to the midterms. Here's host Brad Milkey.
Well, once again, it is primary day in America, and once again, we're seeing a clash within the Democratic Party between the progressive wing and the moderates who believe they stand a better chance in a November general election. And coming off a victory for Democratic Socialist Abdul El Sayed in Michigan last week, candidates to the left are more optimistic than ever, but there's also a lot of distrust among these Democrats, and today's governor's race in Wisconsin could put all that to the test. So let's turn to somebody who knows about this. ABC's Gabby Vinnick is one of our intrepid campaign digital journalists. Basically, she has devoted all of her free time over the last year just following a few of these races. Gabby, I think you're Wisconsin and Iowa. Am I getting that right?
I have Wisconsin, Iowa, Kansas, and Louisiana.
Oh my gosh, even more than I expected. Okay, well, let's talk about Wisconsin then, since that's the race today. Why is Wisconsin so important overall?
Yes, so this is a battleground state where elections are won by the slimmest margins, where presidential candidates frequent.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's great to be in Milwaukee. We love Milwaukee.
President Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election by less than a single percentage point. In 2020, President Joe Biden carried the state by less than a single percentage point.
Well, the reason I came today was I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to listen directly to the people in Kenosha.
This is purple turf. It is not necessarily an easy place for people who are Democratic Socialists to win.
That's right. Okay, so then with that in mind, there's a Democratic Socialist running in the governor's race in Wisconsin today, and yet this whole race seems to have gotten rather messy. Why is that? Can you walk us through it?
Yes. So in Wisconsin, Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong, she is a state representative. She represents deep blue Madison, Wisconsin, the capital. I should also shout out my alma mater. I went to Wisconsin. And she is trying to win a 4-way Democratic primary for governor.
I assure you, I will be fighting to protect every single Wisconsinite.
So the question has been, who is going to be the strongest moderate opponent to Francesca Hong? Who can court independent voters and swing voters in a purple state like Wisconsin? And Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez appeared to be that very candidate, at least for some time.
The system is broken and nobody in power seems to feel the urgency to fix it.
She had appeared to gain some momentum. She had been endorsed by another candidate, Missy Hughes, who dropped out. And then another candidate, David Crowley, drops out. The next day endorses Rodriguez. And just days later, Rodriguez drops out of the race in mid-July over a campaign finance scandal.
Because there's so much at stake, y'all. That's why I came back into this election. I know that I'm the best candidate to defeat Tom Tiffany in November.
The very next day, David Crowley revives his campaign, this time endorsed by the governor.
Wait, let me see if I'm getting this right. So people have been dropping out of the race, being like, we need to put all of our energy into like one moderate opponent here. Finally comes down to the lieutenant governor, but then she drops out because of her own scandal. So now one of the guys is getting back in the race.
Yes, and now he's trying to chip away votes from the other two lower polling candidates.
But wait, I guess what is so offensive to some of these Democrats about Francesca Hong? Or like what do they think makes it that she cannot beat a Republican in November?
The short answer, I'll give you 2 words: social media. She's been very outspoken on social media. She has called to abolish the U.S. Senate and to defund the police. She has reversed her positions on those stances and has somewhat distanced herself from the national platform of the Democratic Socialists of America.
I am the only candidate right now that is calling for a moratorium on a data center construction.
Just about a week ago, she was asked on CNN if she stood by a 2020 post that has now been deleted, in which she called to outright cancel Thanksgiving.
Bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And
she appeared to defend her view at the time and immediately received backlash. And she since walked that back. She told Politico that Thanksgiving is actually her favorite holiday, and that no, she would not cancel it.
How does that shape what we're about to see tonight then? Like what are the stakes, I guess, for Democrats going forward?
Whoever becomes the nominee, this race will have massive implications for the Democratic Socialist movement. It would be another major victory for DSA to win on purple turf.
And in Wisconsin, the communists even have a woman who said that the holiday of Thanksgiving should be immediately abolished.
Meanwhile, Republicans have put money behind Hong, thinking that she will be the better matchup for Republican U.S. Representative Tom Tiffany in November. Whatever happens tonight, the Democrats will need to find a way to unite behind their nominee, and they have a much shorter window to do so ahead of November.
Right, when the Republicans are funding your campaign, that's when you know they think they could probably beat you come November. But really high stakes, no love lost between some of these candidates. We'll see how it shakes out tonight. Gabby Vennick, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll have a commentary with Charlie Harger. There is some odd dynamics at play in the fight to repeal the state's income tax. We'll have more details on that next. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
I felt like I had pins and needles sticking into my feet, like they were on fire. Couldn't figure out what was going on and suffered with it. Very uncomfortable to try to get to sleep. So I started to do some research, and it sounded like it might be peripheral neuropathy. If you have it in your feet, it migrates up towards your knees. So I thought I better take care of this. My primary care physician was only offering me gabapentin. It's a nerve blocker, and it didn't make a difference. Maybe toned it down a little bit, but it was so painful to walk. I called Sound Pain Solutions, and right away I got a good feeling. Had my first appointment. They said, we're going to help you. We're going to get through this. So I said, okay, let's do it.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We use non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers find relief.
My husband and I went on a trip through the Panama Canal, and being able to walk was really delightful.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Jane is a small business owner. Tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
The Total Solutions Advantage. No one does business like Comcast Business.
The more solutions you add, the more you save. Get started today with a qualifying internet package for as low as $60 a month when you add an advanced solution. Plus, new customers, ask how to get up to $1,500 in prepaid cards when you add 2 lines of mobile to a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Prepaid card offers end 9/13/2026.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. There's been a rash of reports of fake contractors ripping homeowners off for roof replacements and other jobs. That's why it is so important to know the company coming to your home. And that's why I put my name behind Valentine Roofing. Every customer can expect the Valentine experience. That's seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. So if you think your roof is on its last legs, if you want to beat the rain and beat the mad rush, Valentine Roofing is now offering priority scheduling for your roof replacement. That means when you call Valentine Roofing today, they can get your job started within 3 weeks of signing the agreement. And they make the process so simple. You can expect an estimate with transparent pricing and options that fit your needs in about an hour. Since 2008, thousands of Western Washington homeowners like me have chosen Valentine Roofing for their roofing needs, and you can trust them too. So call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
It's the best time of the year at Staples, with back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech and more at staples.com/back-to-school.
Tune in to elevate your wealth. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement, you do not have the time to deal with a market downturn.
With Mark Stimson and Casey Elkins.
It's important that you know what the rules are, because if you don't, you can make some tremendous decisions that could adversely affect you, and you may not be able to go back and fix them.
Tune in to Elevate Your Wealth, Saturdays at 11 a.m., right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard, filling in for Manda Factor. The federal government has already granted Washington an emergency declaration and a public health emergency for the wildfires. Now, Governor Bob Ferguson says the state will make even a bigger ask, a major disaster declaration by mid-September.
I'm very aware that these major disaster declarations are not always granted. And so we are determined to make our case as compelling as possible.
If granted, the declaration would unlock direct financial assistance for individuals and funding to repair damaged public infrastructure across 7 eastern Washington counties. Following the deadly gang-related mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle and the response from officials, Mayor Katie Wilson is saying the city needs a better communication plan when major events happen. KIRO 7 TV's Tyre Majors reports the city is launching an independent review.
The review will look at when information was released, if there were delays, and what caused them, with recommendations for improving communication during future emergencies. Interim Seattle Police Chief Andre Sales wrapped up his first week on the job. He says better communication is one of his early priorities at SBD and that his department is committed to transparency. So here's the timeline for the review. The Office of Inspector General's findings will be shared with the Mayor's Office and Seattle City Council's Public Safety Committee, and the final report will be posted publicly on the OIG website. The review is expected to be completed by mid-December.
Seattle police are investigating a deadly collision in North Seattle. Police say a 37-year-old man riding an e-scooter was struck by a westbound minivan around 12:44 this morning. This happened near Northwest 85th Street and 24th Avenue Northwest. The man died at the scene. Police say the 16-year-old driver returned to the scene and cooperated with investigators. No signs of impairment have been found. Police agencies across the state are getting more than $8 million from the feds.
The federal grants will pay for equipment, training, and personnel, things including drones and emergency medical kits, as well as school resource officers. The 2 largest grants, nearly $6.5 million combined, will go to the State Department of Commerce. The Seattle Police Department and surrounding jurisdictions will receive more than $842,000. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Now for your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic with Chris Sullivan.
Started to see a few more customers out there, Katrina, especially on the 167 corridor from the Kent area, or from Auburn into Kent, really, and then at the north end. So we're already up to about 40 minutes to make that trip from Puyallup up to Renton, maybe a little bit more. But you'll pick up the pace after that. Renton to Bellevue is only 15. A little slowing on northbound I-5 from 320th up past Kent-Des Moines Road, but overall under 40 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle. And we're not bad. Olympia to Tacoma freeway speed there. 16 and 18 look great. Lake bridges are fine coming down from the north end. Not too bad at all. 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. A little westbound slowing across the trestle, but nothing you can't handle. And it looks like 203 is still pretty heavy coming down or between, basically High Rock and Monroe. They're doing construction there overnights until about 6 a.m. The rest of the week. So plan on some early morning delays there as they work their way through that, but that should be wrapping up quickly. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, we've got some low clouds this morning, but it'll give way for sunshine this afternoon. Highs again pretty comfortable. They'll be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 56 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live. Stream it online. Watch the show or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
In Charlie's commentary yesterday, an initiative to repeal the state's income tax on millionaires will be on November's ballot, but there is a lot happening behind the scenes. Here's Charlie with more.
On X, called Minty Hawk, made a lot of people who support the initiative repealing the new income tax uncomfortable this weekend. Whoever Minty Hawk is, they walk through the statute behind the income tax ballot language line by line over the weekend, and they're right. Before any of this started, the Democrats asked experts to design a perfect bill, basically, to enact an income tax. And guess what? The experts delivered. A video clip of Thurston County Superior Court Judge Chris Lanise got a lot of views over the weekend. The hearing on Friday was about whether to change the public investment impact disclosure, the warning sentence voters will see on the ballot next to the income tax repeal initiative. During that hearing, Lanise warned from the bench that Washington could continue a downward regressive spiral in its tax system. He gestured. He editorialized. He sounded less like a judge interpreting a statute and more like a legislator defending one. Here's what happened in that courtroom. Two separate groups showed up to challenge the ballot language. Arthur West, an open government activist working on his own, filed one suit. Let's Go Washington had a team of lawyers ready to go to argue theirs. Well, the judge heard West's case, resolved the ballot wording through his arguments, and then closed the matter. Let's Go Washington attorneys were sitting right there, and they never got to present. Brian Haywood of Let's Go Washington said a guy who doesn't represent them argued the issues from their challenge, and then the court shut the door. Now, West, who has no connection to Let's Go Washington, is the one filing the appeal to the Supreme Court. The organization that built the initiative is watching from the hallway, while a solo activist they don't choose carries this legal fight. And constitutional challenges are much harder to win. State GOP Chairman Jim Walsh called West a gullible non-lawyer who let the judge use his weaker case to kill the stronger one. All of that frustration online about the way Judge Lanise behaved is real. He did seem like he had his mind made up before anyone sat down. But the anger is aimed at the wrong target. Yelling at Lanise is yelling at the instrument. The legislature wrote the sheet music in 2022. Think of this like a pitcher throwing a perfect game. No walks, no errors, no chance for the other side to get on base. See, back in 2022, the legislature passed a law requiring the Attorney General to write warning sentences on any ballot measure that changes state revenue, listing the top 3 spending categories affected. For the income tax repeal, the AG produced this. It says this measure would decrease funding for public K-12 education, higher education, and human services, primarily health care. K-12, higher ed, and human services are the 3 biggest line items in that budget, so any tax-cutting initiative triggers the same scary sentence. And the same law demands the language be neutral, a sentence designed to sound like an argument against repeal required by statute to be called neutral. Well, the income tax this initiative hasn't. Let me repeat that. The income tax this initiative would repeal hasn't collected a dime. The first dollar doesn't arrive until 2029. But the ballot will tell voters it will decrease funding for K-12 education and health care. Decrease funding from what? From money that doesn't exist yet. Well, that's the pitch sequence, right? Working as designed. The legislature budgeted against revenue it hasn't collected, and now the ballot warning treats phantom revenue as though teachers are already cashing paychecks from it. If voters want the income tax, that's their call, but they deserve more than one warning sentence written by the same government that doubled the budget and still can't balance it. So it seems 2 options remain, the initiative itself in November and the lawsuit. That's it. Ballots need to be finalized by August 21st, and the warning label stays the same on every one of them. This is doing exactly what the 2020 legislature built it to do.
That is the commentary from Monday, August 10th. You can find all of Charlie's commentaries at mynorthwest.com. Coming up, your political insights from ABC's Stephanie Officer. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you compared your insurance?
If you're like most people, it's probably been years.
That's exactly why I took the First Mark Challenge. They searched rates from dozens of top insurance companies, and I ended up saving thousands of dollars.
Same experience here. And here's what surprised me. It was completely free. No cost, no obligation. They simply show you whether they can find you lower premiums, better coverage, or both.
Why wouldn't you take the First Mark Challenge? Think about it. If they can save you money, you win. If they can improve your coverage, you win. And if they can't do either, you've lost absolutely nothing.
That's why more than 11,000 clients trust First Mark Insurance. They work for you, not a single insurance company.
Plus, First Mark has world-class customer service. When you need help, you're talking with local people who know you and your policy, not some random call center.
Stop wondering if you're paying too much. Find out.
Before you renew, let First Mark review.
You have nothing to lose and possibly thousands to save.
Take the First Mark Insurance Challenge today at firstmarkinsurance.com.
firstmarkinsurance.com.
These are your political insights from ABC News. Tuesday is primary day in 6 more states: South Carolina, Vermont, Alabama, Connecticut, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. In Minneapolis, immigration a main concern. That's where 2 American citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, were killed during ICE operations. Resident Leah Dunbar voted early on her top issue.
The federal occupation in my neighborhood. We really need leaders that are going to challenge the norm right now, I believe.
Speaking of Alabama, voters in 4 of their 7 congressional districts Tuesday will select U.S. House nominees using a new map eliminating one of its 2 majority black districts Democrats currently represent. North Carolina State Representative Jennifer Balcom has the GOP nomination in the state's 11th congressional district, replacing incumbent Chuck Edwards after he dropped his re-election bid when the House Ethics Committee found significant evidence of sexual misconduct. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast this morning, we've got some low clouds. It'll be partly cloudy to start off your day, then some sunshine. Highs will be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 56 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, Crime and Punishment, our weekly check-in with Casey McNerthy at the King County Prosecutor's Office.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendonitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee.
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Time for Crime and Punishment. Every week we speak with Casey McNerthney from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, talking about cases coming in front of them, sometimes resolutions of those cases as well. And Washington State ranks dead last in terms of property crime and in terms of shoplifting and organized retail theft. Casey, it does sound like the prosecutor's office is trying the best it can to go after these cases, at least on the felony level.
Yeah. Anytime that we see one of those cases referred to us, that goes to a deputy who works on those cases exclusively. And in court this morning, there are another 2 folks who were charged with organized retail theft. That's a felony. The first case was somebody who's accused of stealing from Ulta Beauty, and what police say was that that business suffered more than $6,200 in losses. Ulta Beauty gets hit over and over and over. It's, we're very fortunate that they stay in business. Of all those thefts, there was none of it the police say were recovered. And the defendant also has an ongoing case for organized retail theft involving REI. In the second case that's in court this morning, there's somebody who's accused of stealing from TJ Maxx in North Seattle. That's the one that is by where Northgate Mall was, by the Baskin-Robbins there. Mm-hmm. More than $2,500 in merchandise was allegedly taken in 12 different instances, and only $131 of that was recovered, according to police. Those folks are in court this morning for an arraignment, which is where an initial plea is entered.
Speaks to a couple different things, right? First of all, these are tiny little items like you're at Ulta Beauty, just stuff that in your pocket and you walk away. I'm assuming these get resold online, and that is how these thieves make their money?
I don't know in these individual cases, but in other cases, we certainly see that. At Third and Pike, it gets resold, or other places or online. It can be a number of different areas where things are often resold. And those individual cases are misdemeanors unless they're combined. They're most often misdemeanors because you can steal a few $100s worth of things and still have it at the misdemeanor level.
Which gets to my other point, and that is the prosecuting attorney's office can only do the felony level shoplifting or what have you. So it does sound like Ulta and REI have their cameras running. They're tracking these guys. They know who they are, and they're waiting until they hit that felony level here in King County because they know it will be treated as a crime at a felony level. I'll leave that as an open-ended statement. People might be able to infer what I'm saying from there.
Well, I think that they're reporting each individual case, but then you're right, the King County prosecutors can't get involved until they can show that pattern of organized retail theft.
But wait, there's more, because you have a couple commercial burglary defendants in court this morning. What happened here?
Yeah, there's a couple of cases, and every day there are cases like this, theft cases or or burglary cases on the calendar, and most people don't know about them because they don't make the news, but it's important for folks to know that these kinds of cases consistently are coming through with all kinds of defendants. One of them this morning involves a art business up on Capitol Hill. There are two people who allegedly broke in there. One person is accused of using a power saw to get through a fence and then through a door. Seattle police found these folks nearby and stopped their vehicle and made that arrest, or those arrests. And then the other one involves a piercing studio off of Yale Avenue North. And Seattle police responded there, found one of the people involved at a nearby park and made the arrest there. So it's nice to see that those arrests made right away.
Well, that also speaks to why things are so dang expensive around here. It's not the only reason, of course, but when you have the shoplifting, when you have the businesses that are broken into, they have their stuff stolen. What are they to do? Are they just to absorb that loss, or do they start charging more? And this certainly seems like it's one of the factors, Casey. And I wanted to jump over here to this copper wire theft. This is happening in Kent, and this business, they've been just absolutely hammered by these guys, and it's costing them so much.
Yeah, so much money. And it's a business in Kent that makes cutlery for different restaurants. And every day that they aren't able to operate, they estimate that it costs them about $12,000 in lost opportunities. And they already were hit once, and they suffered overall between the damage and the cost for security upgrades and the loss of operation, about $90,000 in losses. They're looking at their cameras relatively recently. They report another theft and malicious mischief. And the same thing happened where copper wires that were feeding a generator that's essential for this business were taken. And Kent Police did good work to make an arrest and to do a follow-up investigation, but it still cost this business tens of thousands of dollars. They were out of a commission for 6 days, and there's about $12,000 in damage and about $7,000 in new security costs. It just is one of those things where you don't want to see businesses move out or even suffer through this because there's no requirement that they stay.
And what's happening here is it's not just the copper wire that's being stolen. I think that's just a huge point. The business shuts down for a few days. You got to bring a repair guy out. You have to build new security fencing. You have to do all this stuff. So it's not just the wire itself that you can replace in 30 minutes. It's a much bigger process, and it hammers these poor small businesses. And here's the thing that ticks me off in this story, Casey. What did they allegedly find in this thief's truck?
Oh, yeah. So when Kent Police got a search warrant, they allegedly found a receipt for a metal buyer the day after this theft was reported.
This is something your office has been trying to hammer home and hammer home. Lisa Mannion was just on with one of the other KIRO News radio shows last week. Just talk to me about copper wire theft and what could be done in the state legislature.
It's really a simple fix. And what King County prosecutors are wanting is the same system that pawn shops have right now. And that is an online database that police across King County can search, where they look and see what was bought, who bought it, and that merchandise is held for a week or so. And if they determine that it is stolen, they can act on it right away. Right now, the buyers, and actually even this metal recycler involved in this case, had information for people who sold it, but there's not a way other than police going to them and asking about it. They can't be at their desk and then search all of them at once. And so it's possible, but so much more time consuming, and so many more cases would be solved if you were able to have the same system as pawn shops.
King County Prosecuting Attorney spokesperson Casey McNerney. Casey, thanks for your time this morning.
It's good to see you, Charlie.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, we've got some morning clouds, then afternoon sun today in the 70s. Tomorrow will be in the lowlands, but some showers and thunderstorms could pop up in the mountains and east of the Cascades. Highs today will be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 56 in downtown Seattle. Coming up in the next hour, more of the day's top headlines. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery with an update on conditions in Spokane. Governor Ferguson gave a press conference yesterday with the latest. Plus, at 6:15, Sully has returned and he has a choke point. some new construction on Highway 20. He'll have all the details. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Carrie injured her back years ago. This is her story.
My herniated disc was so significant that they did the first surgery, the laminectomy and a microdiscectomy. The first surgery failed, and I ended up with another herniated disc, which is pretty typical that herniations just move up your spine. The doctor was recommending another fusion surgery, so I researched alternative therapies. Sound Pain Solutions developed a plan that included bioelectric therapy, laser therapy, decompression, pressure wave therapy, in addition to rehab. Once we started that comprehensive approach, it went phenomenally. They honestly have given me my life back, and I'm happy to help other patients find sound pain solutions sooner.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
Summer is for sunshine.
It's a beautiful day out for baseball here at T-Mobile Park.
Summer is for moonshots.
He just absolutely obliterates this! Multi-homer game, Cole Young!
Summer is for Mariners baseball.
Emerson is racing over, slides up! He missed the catch! Incredible!
So listen for the cheers and follow your ears to T-Mobile Park. Because where else can you travel to on a ferry boat and then eat crab nachos out of a ferry boat?
How sweet it is!
It is the sweetest, Rick. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Don't miss out on fireworks night this summer at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are kicking off Players Weekend with the next show on Friday, August 21st against the Cubs, featuring a playlist curated by your favorite guys on the team. Go to mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and check out the complete lineup. Presented by T-Mobile.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Hartley here from Wilcox Farms. For over 100 years, we've cared for hens with healthy pastures and organic grains. That's why our eggs are nutritious and flavorful. Next time you shop, choose Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. Northwest News. Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A threat against President Trump reportedly forcing a bit of a deception last month. ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz says it apparently took place when the president was leaving the NATO summit in Turkey.
The president walks up the steps to Air Force One, waves goodbye, the catering truck just below the plane. Then 5 minutes later, the press boards Air Force One off to the right, while the catering truck pulls away, reportedly with the president inside. The truck is then seen pulling up behind another military aircraft parked behind Air Force One.
The Washington Post reporting that's how the president was moved from one plane onto another. Heavy equipment at work right now in western Colombia as search teams try to find any survivors in the rubble left by that earthquake that killed over 100 people. Qatar now says talks between Iran and Oman to reopen the Strait of Hormuz are at a critical point. This is ABC News. The Lindsay Clancy murder trial continues in Plymouth, Massachusetts. ABC's Peter Haralambous has more on the woman who says she was suffering from extreme postpartum depression when she killed her 3 young children.
Clancy's lawyer, Kevin Reddington, argued that the medical system failed Clancy when she needed it the most. He pressed psychiatrist Jennifer Tufts about only treating Clancy via telehealth rather than in-person visits as her mental health deteriorated.
Did you ever suggest to her that maybe you ought to come in to see me rather than talk on the computer?
Defense lawyers argue that Clancy shouldn't be convicted on murder charges because she experienced a rare episode of postpartum psychosis when she strangled her children. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
A federal appeals court this week has rejected an appeal by Meta, the company behind Facebook and Instagram, as well as TikTok. The companies are trying to stop lawsuits accusing them of creating platforms that get kids addicted, but the court says the lawsuits can move forward. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 6:02, here's what's happening. Washington now enduring its 3rd worst fire season in 20 years. More than 720,000 acres burned. We'll have an update from our Jillian Raftery coming up. A lawsuit is coming against Seattle Public Schools over the killing of a Rainier Beach student at a bus stop. The teen had a history of leaving campus without permission and had once been arrested near the school after reports he had a gun, prompting the safety plan the family claims the district failed to follow the day he died. And Seattle police are investigating a triple shooting at a Capitol Hill Airbnb yesterday morning. 3 people showed up at hospitals with gunshot wounds. No arrests so far. 6:03, it's time to check traffic every 10 minutes. Welcome back, Sully.
It's good to be here, Charlie. We're looking at a pretty heavy day already up the Valley Freeway. Our good friend Adam are on his way to his Staples delivery job today. He's already seen a lot of heavy volume through the Auburn area up past Emerald Downs. We've got just under 45 minutes to make the trip from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue's just under 20 at this point as the S-curves are starting to activate. Olympia to Tacoma, though, in good shape. Tacoma itself is quiet. Federal Way to Seattle under 40. Coming down from the north end, starting to see the brake lights now during the forced merge there in Northgate on I-5. 405 much better, so give yourself about 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle, about 35. Everett to Bellevue, the lake bridges are quiet. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Thanks for joining us today. Manda has the day off. 2% of Washington state is on fire.
A tragedy, just really unimaginable destruction.
There is now an army, not a small one either, in Spokane and beyond, fighting fires and helping with recovery. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery is live with the latest.
2%, Charlie. That is a hard number to wrap our heads around. We in the Puget Sound region are often removed from fires that burn in grassland or rip through rugged mountainous terrain. These fires in Spokane are burning through suburban neighborhoods.
Spokane took a punch in the gut. And what you're seeing out there is a community that is absolutely reacting to that, neighbors helping neighbors, and really the whole of government response here that you see behind you.
That's Major General Gent Welsh, commander of Washington's National Guard. He's managing 240 personnel in Spokane. Half are fighting the fires and half are helping local law enforcement. That's on top of 1,700 other firefighters and then, of course, an army of volunteers, Red Cross personnel, insurance personnel are there. There are 2 whole air bases devoted to fighting these 3 fires near Spokane.
These are aviators that for 14 days straight get up every morning and do nothing but fly helicopters, slinging buckets of water, putting fire out.
That hard work is paying off. One of the fires in Spokane is almost 100% contained now, and the others are well under control. Other areas, though, of our state are still in an all-out war against fire. Most notably, the Little Giant fire near Leavenworth is bigger than the city of Seattle now. It's burned for a month and is 0% contained. 26 structures have been destroyed. We've heard stories, of course, about people who don't have fire insurance. In Spokane, though, this mop-up is just the beginning. A lot of people who had to evacuate had minutes to leave, rousted out by law enforcement banging on their door. They've lost food, clothes, furniture, even ID.
That's even before you go through the process to rebuild the rest of your life and your house. It's going to take some time. Do not quit and do not become paralyzed. You'll go through a range of emotions as you're going through this process, but please, 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 your families are depending on you, your community's depending on you. Do not let this get you down, and keep driving on.
It's not every day you get this kind of serious pep talk from a general with decades of combat and emergency management experience. I think it underscores exactly how serious this situation is. And remember, we have at least a month, maybe 2 months of fire season to go.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. Air quality has improved around here. The Puget Sound Clean Air Agency says after last week's wildfire smoke rolled in, conditions reached unhealthy for sensitive groups, but now monitors indicate air quality is good and should stay that way until at least tomorrow for Pierce, King, Kitsap, and Snohomish counties. City of Renton taking extreme measures to guarantee its police cameras are not tracking you. King 5 reports the city council voted last night to physically cover up all 23 automated license plate readers, the flock cameras. Renton is the first city in the western United States to mandate the physical covers. While officials decide what to use as cover, other cities have simply used black trash bags. Pierce County deputies are investigating a deadly discovery inside a backyard shed. Fox 13 Seattle reports a man was found shot to death yesterday afternoon in the Spanaway Parkland area. Someone who knew the victim called 911 and asked deputies to check on his welfare. That's when they found the man lying on the floor of the shed with 2 gunshot wounds to his head. Detectives say the multiple wounds prove this wasn't a suicide. They're now investigating as a homicide. Shooter still on the run. If you know anything, deputies would like you to call. After the deadly gang-related mass shooting at the Bight of Seattle and the response from officials, Mayor Katie Wilson says the city needs a better communication plan when major events happen. KIRO 7 TV's Tyra Majors reports the city is launching an independent review.
Information was released, if there were delays and what caused them, with recommendations for improving communication during future emergencies. Interim Seattle Police Chief Andre Sales wrapped up his first week on the job. He says better communication is one of his early priorities at SBD and that his department is committed to transparency. So here's the timeline for the review. The Office of Inspector General's findings will be shared with the Mayor's Office and Seattle City Council's Public Safety Committee, and the final report will be posted publicly on the OIG website. The review is expected to be completed by mid-December.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, it's Tuesday, August 11th. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has the day off, but Sully's back.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Nice.
Welcome back, Sully.
Yeah, it's good.
You have been missed.
Have I?
Yeah.
You sure?
No, we've actually had a great time with Ted. Ted is so great to have sitting in that seat. But so many people with time off. So we have, let's see, yesterday you were off, Manda was off, Luke was off, Nick 1 was off. It was a day of, not challenges, but a day of, wow, I don't work with these people all the time.
Well, Katrina, David, and you could hold it down, right?
Yeah, sure.
And Nick, too.
Yeah, and we have such a great team here. It was really kind of flawless. I was, the one that wasn't doing my best yesterday, but it's good to have you back.
Well, yesterday at this time, I was teeing off at Echo Falls.
What's your little secret here?
Teeing off before 6 a.m. is really the only way to play golf. I played a 2-hour and 10-minute round up at Swinomish, 18 holes on Thursday. Yesterday, under 3. Saturday, when I played with my family out at the Willows in Redmond in the afternoon, over 5 of maddeningly terrible slow play.
Wonderful time with your family.
Yeah, it was great. It's really hard when you have to wait 20 minutes between shots. So Willows has got to do something with their pace of play.
Wow.
But so teeing off in the morning is definitely, so I may just have to retire just if I want to play golf to go forward. Is that okay with you?
No.
Okay.
It is not.
Okay.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News, sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control. Coming up, Sully, you do have a choke point.
Yeah, I do, because I went up and played at Swinomish, which is near Anacortes. I went and checked out the new roundabout construction there by Deception Pass on SR20. Just got the update last night on when the 19 days of closures are about to begin, so we'll have that in choke points today.
Okay, and it's a Tech Tuesday. Meta announcing they're going to expand their AI services. This is amidst growing backlash over artificial intelligence. We'll check in with ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky for details. It is 6:10. Dispute over Denny Blaine Park is heating up again. KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss spoke with Lee Keller, a spokesperson for the group Denny Blaine Park for All.
Some neighbors claim a big event brought out a big crowd to Denny Blaine over the weekend.
People who live in the area said there was probably 100 people there.
Keller says not only did someone from this gathering pull down part of the barrier, which divides the park from its lower clothing optional section.
A lot of illegal and illicit activities that we have been asking the city to step in and stop happened. The masturbation, the sex acts, the rest of it.
She says the event was captured on camera, and parts of it are now on the Denny Blaine Park for All website.
Seattle police investigating a triple shooting at a party in a short-term rental near 10th Avenue East and East Lynn Street. Happened early yesterday morning. Here's KIRO 7's James Lynch.
911 calls for gunfire started coming in about 12:40. Officers found the party at the Airbnb and collected evidence, but no victims. Here's SPD Detective Shane Weatherford.
While police were investigating, 3 victims showed up to local hospitals as 2 males and 1 female. They all had non-life-threatening gunshot wounds.
Detectives with the Gun Violence Reduction Unit are leading the investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call the Seattle Police Violent Crimes Tip Line at 206-233-5000. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
At 6:12, time to get a check on the weather. Nick Allard, kind of perfect, right? I mean, not too hot, not too cold. We've got sunshine, and the air is clear after last week's smokiness.
It's looking pretty good. Now, that may change eventually, but what I'm looking at today is just some patchy areas of low clouds, not much like yesterday, and a little bit of fog, but whatever low cloud cover we get, which is pretty isolated still, will clear easily today, and you'll see more sunshine, so a mostly sunny day with temps getting at least into the mid and upper 70s and lower 80s. Tomorrow, we see more clouds and eventually a few showers and thunderstorms possible in the Olympics, the North Cascades, and east of the Cascades. And then some of that might produce some north wind elevated, so it might give us a little bit of haze overnight into Thursday, but it looks like it would stay mainly elevated, and then Thursday itself would just see, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms mainly in the mountains or east, and then after that, I'm just expecting to go back to sunshine the rest of the week. So upper 70s today, mid 70s tomorrow, then upper 70s Thursday. Don't be too shocked if you see a little mainly just elevated haze. And then Friday and beyond, I don't think that's a problem anymore, and we look for just mid, or how about low to mid 80s with sunshine through the weekend. No real rain coming for us. We might see some with these thunderstorms, but that still does mean lightning, which means fire danger is still a big issue.
Okay, so any chance of any rain or anything like not strong winds in eastern Washington?
Yeah, not really. It looks breezy there tonight, windy there tomorrow, and that trend continues. And yeah, with those showers, there may be some thunderstorms. So I'm not too optimistic about the fire danger there over the next couple days, unfortunately.
All right, Nick, thank you for that. Right now in Seattle, it's 56. We need to head over to the traffic desk. That's where we find Chris Sullivan.
And we're definitely seeing a little bit more volume on southbound I-5 as you work your way through Northgate. Over 40 minutes now from Everett into Seattle. 35 still from Everett to Bellevue. It's not too bad down 405 as of yet. A little westbound slowing across the Trestle. A little westbound 522 as you work your way across the Snohomish River Bridge out of Monroe, but not too bad. Coming the other direction, Olympia to Tacoma is nice and easy. 35 minutes or less for you guys. Tacoma is quiet. A few brake lights up the hill to 18, and then Federal Way to Seattle's a little over 40 minutes. Kind of a couple of places you go under the speed limit from about 320th up past 272nd, a little bit down South Center, and then around the West Seattle Bridge now. Rented to Bellevue is still under 20 minutes, so that's great. The Valley Freeway, about 45 already. There's heavy brake lights in Auburn and at the north end part of that drive. Also seeing some slowing on eastbound 512, just volume as you work your way through the fairgrounds, getting down to the 167 interchange over the river there. Lake bridges are fine. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's Morning News.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, 19 days of massive congestion is about to start on State Route 19, just north of Deception Pass. Here's what you need to know about Sully. I think every single day during his time off, his vacation, including the weekend, Sully was messaging into the station, hey, we've got a traffic problem here. Oh, look at this. There's a blockage there. On his days off, and on one of those days off, he headed to the construction zone just north of Deception Pass to get some pictures and get some answers.
Yeah, because unless you've been there, you really kind of have a hard time understanding maybe what they're doing or why it might take so long and why they're going to have to close the road for as much as they have to. So getting eyes on it, I think, was pretty good idea. And yeah, it was just 3 miles from where I was playing golf at the Swinomish Golf Links up there anyway. But traveling between Deception Pass and Anacortes is not going to be pleasant starting on Monday. That's when the Washington Department of Transportation is going to activate new temporary traffic signals on SR 20 at Campbell Lake Road. If you're watching our YouTube live feed, I shot some video up there of the intersection. David's playing it now to kind of give you an idea of what they're looking at. They're only going to allow one direction of travel through this construction zone, which is about 4 miles north of Deception Pass. This one-lane alternating traffic pattern will stay in place for 19 straight days, 24 hours a day. The signals go live at 6 a.m. next Monday. Now, here's the thing. They're scheduled to stay active through 6 p.m. on Friday, September 4th. Why should you be thinking that far in advance? Well, that's the Friday before Labor Day, through 6 o'clock. On a spot between Whidbey Island and Anacortes. What could go wrong? I'm hoping it's only 18 days, because adding that day in advance of Labor Day is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. So what's WashDOT doing in this area that requires such a move? Well, it's building a new roundabout at the three-way intersection there. It's going to help improve safety and really help drivers coming from Campbell Lake Road access SR 20. When I sat up there last week, I watched drivers sit and sit and sit looking for a way to get on to SR 20. And then a few of them jumped into very tight gaps, and you can see where there's a safety issue here. WashDOT's Elizabeth Mount told me that the contractor needs these 19 days to raise the dirt level on the east side of the highway.
That's when crews will build up the roadbed beneath eastbound SR 20 to meet that final grade of the roundabout. And a temporary layer of asphalt will be applied to be used by the eastbound traffic during that settlement period.
And you can see why it's going to take so long to fill this in. If you look at the video there, you can see that the road slopes down severely in that spot. The west side of the road appears to be 5 to 10 feet above the east side. So they got to fill that hole in. It's going to just take some time. So after the 19 days of closures, WashDOT will return two-way traffic to the corridor for about 6 months. WashDOT's Melissa Ambler says that will allow the dirt to settle, the time for it to settle, and give the contractor an idea of how much dirt will need to be added before they can build the roundabout.
We'll be raising the road this year, and because of the poor soils in the area, we need to wait and see if any of it settles. We'll be back next year. We'll survey the area and see if we're still at the proper elevation. And if we're not, then we'll build it up again and then build the roundabout.
Once work on that roundabout begins next year, WashDOT will once again reduce SR 20 to one lane of alternating traffic, but this time for up to 54 days. Speed limit in the area already has been reduced to 40 miles an hour, and I can tell you that it is being monitored closely by State Patrol already. Saw multiple troopers patrolling that area last week. The only real way to avoid the backups in this area is to take Rosario Road, but that's an even smaller road and really can't handle the capacity. That's kind of a locals only. My locals will tell me really not a great option for you. Best bet, avoid the peak times if you can, or maybe catch a ferry off the south end of Whidbey, because going north or coming down out of Anacortes is not going to be easy the next couple of weeks.
Orient me. So this is, where would I be headed if I were to take this road?
SR 20? So you're basically coming off the top of Whidbey Island across the Deception Pass Bridge.
Okay.
And then you kind of meander your way up to where the roundabout to SR 20, where you would take a left to go to Anacortes, a right to go to Mount Vernon. So right there by the refineries. That's that stretch of Highway 20, and it's about halfway between there and Deception Pass. Campbell Lake's big lake there over on your left-hand side. And so it's an area that a lot of people recreate in. Heck, when I was up there on Thursday, there were a bunch of people, already just hanging out at Deception Pass. I mean, on a beautiful day, why wouldn't you go there? Beautiful state park. And so it's another way to get off the island without having to use a ferry. And really easier for people on the north end. A lot of people, commute back and forth between Anacortes and there are places in there. So that's kind of where it is. It's at the very northern tip where 20 goes over Deception Pass and then on up into Anacortes.
Okay. And if people need to find out more, I'm assuming you have a map and stuff like that up at mynorthwest.com?
Yeah, I do. Plus, I've put this video up on my X account, and we have links to that. They'll be up on our YouTube channel later and, TikTok or wherever we put those things now. So it's all of our channels. It's going to be there. But yeah, the map's up at mynorthwest.com. If not, Jason's working on it, our editor at the My Northwest right now. It should be up pretty quickly.
Okay, we'll be back with you in about a minute as you scour your traffic resources. Other stories we're following this morning. If you're planning to travel between Seattle and Portland this week, expect delays and schedule changes on Amtrak. The railroad says a disruption caused by a recent warehouse fire near Portland will continue through Friday of this week. Bus service is replacing many train trips. Some departures have been canceled. These travelers, who had very different experiences, spoke with KIRO 7.
With no bus service from Vancouver to Portland, I don't understand that. There's no way to get from Vancouver to Portland or without paying $75 for an Uber.
Luckily, just got the notification that the train officially got canceled. So the folks here are fantastic. Amtrak came through for the win.
Amtrak urges travelers to check train status online or through the Amtrak app before heading out. Route 66 turns 100 years old later this year, but communities along the historic highway are already celebrating. A new exhibit at the National Transportation Museum in St. Louis. Sully, that sounds like your kind of place. The National Transportation Museum?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You'd spend weeks there. It's marking the centennial with a look at the Mother Road's impact on American travel. The collection includes historic neon signs and a recreated section of the Coral Court Motel, a former Route 66 landmark. Kobe Ellison is the museum's curator.
Families really didn't go on long road vacations, and Route 66 allowed them to have the amenities along the way.
The official 100th birthday for Route 66 is November 11th. At 6:23, we check traffic on the 3s. I know you're already making plans for November, Sully.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I get my kicks, right? Isn't that where you get your kicks?
On Route 66.
Thank you. Oh, come on, I'm laying these out here for it. These are layups. Come on, Charlie.
I've missed you, man.
Looking at the drive now, the heaviest spot, definitely southbound 405 from about 130th now, past the forced merge in Northgate. We've got a 30-minute trip from Linwood to Seattle, 50 all the way from all the way from the Everett area. About 5 minutes faster on 405. It's about 45 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. The brake lights are starting to show up now in Canyon Park, south of Bothell. Looking at eastbound 512, a little heavy down the South Hill, but manageable. And then Puyallup to Renton's running around 45. Renton to Bellevue, not quite 20. About 40 now, maybe a little over 40 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. Olympia to Tacoma looks good. The Lake Bridges are fine. 18 and 16 also looking really good for either one of those corridors if you're using them. So all in all, we're not in that bad a shape. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Looks like we'll have morning clouds burn off, making way for afternoon sunshine. A high of 77 in Seattle today. Partly cloudy the next couple days after this, with highs in the mid to upper 70s. Right now, it's 56 downtown. Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, Jillian Raftery reports on a new communication plan from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. She'll have the details. Also, the opening bell report. This is KIRO News Radio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our 49th birthday, and we're celebrating by giving you the gifts. Outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, free Bluetooth music, and interest-free financing for 3 years. Plus, exciting savings on endless pool swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? Ends August 24th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Harold Carr Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah. Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
Clutter happens. Let Closets by Design save the day. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18-month 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon?
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning at 6:30. I'm Charlie Harger. Washington State is in the middle of a devastating and historic wildfire season. Seattle Times reports this morning the state is enduring its third worst fire season in the past 20 years. So far, flames have scorched more than 720,000 acres across the state. That massive number actually equals nearly 2% of Washington State's total land area. Officials warn we still have about 2 months left in peak fire season. When 3 people were killed at the Bite of Seattle, the city waited hours to give out basic information. Now, Mayor Katie Wilson is ordering an investigation of what happened. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery covered the tragedy that night live on the scene, and she's here now with an update. Jillian.
And Charlie, a lot of people will remember this. I know every reporter in the region does. What police said as journalists waited 5 hours in the rain for information after the Bite of Seattle shooting. It's hard to hear, but a detective is saying there are dignitaries that want to be there. And that's the explanation for waiting those many hours. When I got on scene, we were told there was going to be some sort of press conference, and we just waited and waited.
And the Seattle Police Department had released no information, whether it was safe, whether it was not, whether
there had been a tweet. There had been one tweet. And the interesting thing, you're right. After that, there was nothing. There was a shooting, multiple people hurt. Yeah. We had to get disparate information from disparate sources. People were contacting Seattle Fire, Harborview. We got the most information that night from Seattle Fire. And then many hours later, there was really this kind of nothing burger of a press conference. It just confirmed there were deaths, and there was misinformation at the time, too, with the mayor coming out with a release before the actual press conference. Reporters pressed Mayor Katie Wilson on that delay after like one of her first press conferences. In fact, reporter James Lynch has been really on this.
As soon as we coordinated with SPD and agreed that it was time to talk to the media, as soon as we knew that we were going to be doing that, I and Governor Ferguson and Congresswoman Jayapal arrived on the scene within minutes.
That, in my experience, doesn't quite explain that long delay because, to your point, nobody knew if there was an active shooter around the city. This has happened in the past where there's been mass shootings. A shooter goes to another location. Like, I believe this happened in the Cafe Racer shooting. And so there was a lot of confusion in the city. In fact, people kept coming to the Bite of Seattle. People would walk up and ask me what was happening, and they didn't know. When pressed again, this is what she said.
What we're doing here is we're trying not to provide inaccurate information that later we have to walk back. So I appreciate you all being here and helping us in the all-important mission of keeping the public informed about what is happening. And again, we are trying our best to provide the most accurate information we can in a timely manner.
So now there's supposed to be an after-action review. The Inspector General is going to do an audit of the communications plan, which is, interesting. You don't usually see this in a city of this size. There's been a lot of blame going around between the Seattle Police Department, the mayor's office, so it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, and getting back to the broader point, tens of thousands of people had to flee the Seattle center in terror. Many of them were hiding, not knowing if there was a shooter on the loose, and basically nada in terms of communication, letting people know it was safe to go on your way or you needed to shelter in place. That, I think, is the frustrating issue with so many people.
Right. And we've covered mass casualties events before where there is, you get a corral and you give the bare minimum. When the mayor talks about giving the swirl of information, that is totally true. But as journalists, we are trained to cut through that. Even sometimes you listen to scanner traffic, you listen to what's credible, what you can report, what you cannot. So it's not as if we're just taking everything and just broadcasting it raw.
Good to see we have this audit going on. Jillian Raftery reporting live. We need to get over to Chris Sullivan for a check on traffic every 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot more action on northbound I-5 right as you get towards the West Seattle Bridge. So we're jumped up to about 45 minutes now from Federal Way to Seattle. Valley Freeway still hovering right around 45. Not as bad through Auburn right now as it was a little bit ago, but again, that's going to ebb and flow based on the time of day and the volume. Once you get up through that Renton to Bellevue, the S-curves are active, but by the time you're up to 30th, it's a pretty good drive the rest of the way. You only need about 20 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Olympia to Tacoma, all quiet for you guys, 35 minutes or less. 16 between Port Orchard and Tacoma looks really good. 18 over Tiger Mountain, starting to see a little westbound slowing. Lake bridges are still fine. Coming down from the north end, you're going to need 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer long, presented by T-Mobile. Next show, August 21st, as the Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
Morning clouds burn off. Afternoon sun, a high of 77 today, 75 tomorrow, 79 on Thursday. 56 right now downtown.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Shares in Hims & Hers Health fell 6% in extended trading after the telehealth company posted a wider than expected loss in the second quarter. Officials blame a shift toward branded weight loss drugs for the higher costs at Hims & Hers. Social media companies face thousands of lawsuits after a federal appeals court rejected an appeal by TikTok and Meta, the parent to Facebook and Instagram. The companies are accused of creating platforms that get kids addicted. Google's Waymo, meanwhile, may be a victim of its own success. The autonomous taxi company has nearly quintupled the number of cars to 4,000 in 15 cities and is now faced with 3 federal recalls to fix software problems. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Iran released demands of compensation as part of negotiations to end the war. President Trump responded by saying the U.S. wants compensation too. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
In a social media post, the president responded to the Iranian demand for reparations or damages by saying it's an interesting idea because he says he's now likewise demanding compensation from Iran for, quote, all of the people that they have killed and gravely wounded with their roadside bombs in many conflicts. The president also says compensation should be paid to the families of protesters who've been killed in Iran, he says, over the last 50 years.
Despite claims that Iran is in final talks with Oman over control of the Strait of Hormuz and its shipping lanes, President Trump maintains the U.S. is the one controlling the strait.
The only one that has control of the Strait of Hormuz right now is the United States Navy. We have a blockade that's been infallible. It's a steel wall.
Iran issued new demands for the U.S. to enact. Only then, it says, would the strait be reopened. Iran and the United States are not engaged in direct talks. Tehran claims they will not resume, while Iran believes the U.S. is breaching that interim deal signed in June. There are reports that messages are being exchanged via intermediaries. A Seattle teriyaki shop owner is finally getting her money after a 9-month battle with Uber Eats. Fox 13 Seattle reports Joy Kim is waiting on a massive $40,000 payout. The owner of Kyoto Teriyaki says Uber Eats withheld the money from nearly 1,500 orders starting last November. She says she exchanged dozens of emails with support staff, repeatedly updated her banking info to no avail. Uber blames a massive delay on security protocols, saying it needed to verify her identity. A spokesperson now says the company is expediting the payment. It's expected today. One of the most recognizable buildings in Seattle is finally on the market. KIRO 7 TV reports the Old Rainier Brewery is up for sale. The historic campus and its iconic Big Red R can be yours for $29 million. The massive property features 24 buildings along Airport Way South, currently houses more than 95 unique businesses, art studios, living spaces. The listing also includes thousands of square feet of unfinished space for new development. And Sully, when they brought that Big Red R back, it was so cool because, for like 10, 15 years, they had Tully's Coffee. Yep. They had placed a tea there. But, my childhood, just driving by and seeing that Red R, knew you were getting closer to where you were going.
Yeah.
I can still smell the brewery. I don't know if you ever drove by.
My breath?
I
haven't been drinking this morning, but just curious.
The brewery had just this distinct smell.
Of course it did, yeah.
When it was brewing, you would drive by on the freeway as a kid. That's like a core memory.
It's kind of like same for those of us who grew up in the Portland area when the Fran's Bakery was making their bread early in the morning. You could tell that part of Northeast Portland was, so very similar kind of experiences for the nose for those two landmarks.
Well, on Wall Street right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 160 points, has 0.3%. S&P 500 is flat, and the NASDAQ is down 61%. That's 0.23%. We're here for KIRO 7 Pinpoint Alert Days, your advance notice to stay safe in the heat, smoke, and summer storms. When threatened weather is here to disrupt your day and your plans, KIRO 7 sounds the alarm and alerts you days in advance. Stay informed, stay ready with KIRO 7 Pinpoint Weather, only on KIRO 7 TV. All right, Sully, what's your traffic hotspot?
We're going to take a look at the 405 corridor now. It's really starting to fill in Renton. We'll break it down next.
A wildfire disaster unfolding just east of us.
The Spokane fires
destroyed hundreds of homes and forced tens of thousands to evacuate.
Unprecedented stories of loss, devastation, and heartbreak.
It was a beautiful home. It really was.
And there was a lot of terror because it's loud. It's hot.
Join KIRO News Radio in doing whatever you can for our neighbors in Spokane. See how you can help at mynorthwest.com.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
At 6:43, we check traffic on the 3s with Sully.
And we're over 25 minutes now from Renton to Bellevue, with the S-curves being very slow from about 167 up past SR 900. That's where it starts thinning out as you work your way past the VMAC, and then the rest of the way up into Bellevue looks pretty good. But 25, 26 minutes now to make that drive, so we're pushing into the red a little bit. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, kind of a standard Tuesday. You have brake lights in Sumner, a little bit in Auburn, a little bit at the north end, but 45 minutes to run that length, not too bad. Eastbound 5 512, though, pretty heavy down the South Hill. Westbound is heavy right as you get to I-5 past Steel Street. Speaking of I-5, Olympia to Tacoma, no problems there. We've got about a 35-minute trip for you. A couple of brake lights at Fife, a little bit up the hill to 18, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 45 minutes. Heaviest spot there, getting past the West Seattle Bridge, working your way into downtown. Coming down from the north end, definitely filling in on 405 and I-5 are over 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, with more than 30 of that away from Linwood, so kind of a standard day for you guys. Across the lake, though, no problems. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Looks like today's weather going to be very similar to yesterday, where the morning clouds burned off and made way for highs in the mid to upper 70s. 77 the forecast high today. Tomorrow 75, 79 on Thursday. Each of these days kind of a repeat. We warm up to the low 80s in the next few days after that. Right now it's 60 and partly cloudy in Seattle. Coming up, big AI plans ahead for Meta. It is a Tech Tuesday. We'll check in with ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky next.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Must be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
I was walking my dog. I fell and ended up with 3 tears in my meniscus. I was sent to a surgeon and they said the only way to get this fixed is to have surgery. That just wasn't an option. I didn't want to jump into surgery without trying anything else.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We offer Jamie an alternative to the downtime and potential risks associated with invasive knee surgery. At Sound Pain Solutions, we help patients like Jamie avoid the side effects of painkillers, cortisone injections, and pain following surgery. Our comprehensive approach includes treatments like pressure wave, PRP, and advanced laser. These treatments reduce pain and restore mobility naturally. Now Jamie is able to do everything she enjoys without pain.
I'm grateful for being able to wake up every day and not be in pain. To be able to go about my day has been amazing.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free joint treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Keep summer outside where it belongs. Save $588 on every window and $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Claim your free quote today, plus 12 months no payments. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
6:48 now. Some of the country's biggest grocery stores are recalling dozens of products with jalapenos over fears of a growing salmonella outbreak. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Walmart, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and Target are now pulling affected guacamole, dips, and salsa from store shelves. Kroger, Albertsons, H-E-B, and Walmart also recalling some meat and poultry products with jalapenos like wraps, burritos, and enchiladas. The FDA says 345 people have been sickened from a salmonella outbreak across 27 states. Most of those people reported eating jalapenos at Chipotle and Qdoba. Health officials have traced the outbreak to jalapenos from Coast Citrus distributors sourced from Mexico.
A big announcement yesterday from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg about the company's future AI developments. It's a Tech Tuesday. Let's get the latest from ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky. Mike, Zuckerberg published an essay about this yesterday. What's the gist?
Yeah, the idea here is that Mark Zuckerberg is outlining his idea for the best way to roll out artificial intelligence in the future. He calls this essay, "The Future is for Everyone." The basic idea being sharing is caring. AI should be in the hands of as many people as possible. It should be able to be free and easy to use. As a result of this, they also launched a bunch of new open models that, anyone can go in and tinker with. They're relatively lightweight. You can run them on a laptop and you can modify them to suit your own personal use cases. So there's a lot of different elements to exactly how that's going to work, but that's kind of like their foundation, to this argument. They also talk a lot about like the social cost here, right? Not just, these models should be cheap to use, but we've seen huge pushback socially to a lot of the artificial intelligence infrastructure that's been built out, data centers and that type of thing. Well, Meta says they're going to invest in energy generating infrastructure wherever they put up a data center. The idea being to give some low cost energy back to those communities to help alleviate some of that sort of social cost, basically fix the PR crisis that AI has been going through. They're also investing in local police and fire departments where data centers have cropped up from Meta. Trade programs where you can learn a skilled trade to help build data centers. Those are transferable skills. They're really, kind of pitching this as a way for Meta to be like the good corporate steward in the AI race, though it remains to be seen, guys, whether this will actually vaunt Meta to the top of the industry. The likes of OpenAI, Anthropic, increasingly Chinese companies like Moonshot are really advanced and really powerful. And Meta's always kind of found itself slightly below the frontier there. So we'll have to see if this kind of shift in strategy makes sense for them, as they also contend with the larger existential threats facing the AI industry and their own sort of internal problems. Yesterday, the same day that Meta published this big essay, a judge denied Meta's appeal over, the addiction of their platforms and whether their platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive. So they've got a lot of problems to figure out, but Meta says they've got this new strategy that's going to, vaunt them into this kind of next technological revolution.
So we know Meta loves monetizing every single thing about you on Facebook, on Instagram, on many of their other platforms. What's in it for them if this is an open source model?
Yeah, the kind of blue sky thinking of this is that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Once we reach this level of super intelligence or artificial general intelligence where the technology becomes greater than the capabilities of the human brain, then we're just going to live in this era of abundance and no one's going to have to work anymore and we're going to cure cancer. And like they are making big promises about what the future of this sort of artificial intelligence revolution will give you. There are many reasons to be skeptical of that, but they say that that is kind of the goal here. Meta says the fastest way to get there is by having a rising tide lift all boats, essentially, by making their technology available to everyone. That means that not just Meta engineers are working on kind of what this technology can do, pushing it to its limits, seeing what applications are out there. They're making it available to everyone, right? Any, independent engineer or developer can tinker around with Meta's models, push it forward, tailor it to their own use cases, build apps, build programs. Again, it's an interesting strategy, right? This is the strategy that we've seen China's models really start to employ in a very wholehearted way. Moonshot, Alibaba, DeepSeek are all Chinese AI companies that have really pushed open models, the open concept of models, whereas, the leaders in the American industry, Anthropic and OpenAI, have pushed back on that. They want the information to be proprietary to them. They want to win the AI race over the Chinese equivalents of their models. So it's an age-old debate in Silicon Valley whether things should be open source or closed source. Meta is very much putting itself on one side of that debate in the hopes that eventually we'll get to that era of abundance. But so far, guys, no one's made money on AI yet. This is a deeply unprofitable industry. Meta, as we said, is facing its own sort of internal struggles with its core social media business. There's a lot of reasons to raise your eyebrows about this.
Mike, we have about 20 seconds, but Anthropic announced yesterday that Claude would be inserting watermarks into text and into other things it produces in order to comply with EU regulations. What is the initial feedback that you've seen online?
I mean, a lot of advocates for sort of AI transparency have been lauding this move. This is not the first sort of AI watermark strategy that we've seen. Google employs a similar thing called Synth ID, specifically applied to AI generated imagery. So you can kind of go into the metadata of various AI images out there and see where it came from, that it is AI generated. Claude and Anthropic's sort of idea here is a little bit broader. This is basically any text that it generates or modifies. So even text that you wrote yourself and then spruced up with AI or used AI in some capacity will still come with this watermark. Conversely, if you continue to modify it, if you go down the rabbit hole, it might lose its watermark. So there's some holes here, loopholes, it seems like, that Anthropic's going to need to navigate. But that's part and parcel of this complex issue, right? How do you properly identify AI-generated content online? Well, there's gradations of it, and Anthropic tries to be walking that tightrope, it seems like.
Mike Dubusky, ABC News technology reporter. Thanks, Mike. We need a real quick check on traffic with Sully.
Well, I'll go with our traffic alert that just popped up. All lanes of southbound 525 are blocked right in Mukilteo by the Safeway, there by Beverly Park Drive at the south end of Payne Field. Waiting to get more information on that, but big delays in that area. Rest of the map looks okay. Travel times in 10. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
High of 77 today. Right now it's 59. Coming up, more of the day's top stories here on Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Charlie Harger.
I want to be a watchdog.
From Seattle's Morning News.
Somebody who is not accepting from the government at face value what they're telling you. I might not even be necessarily against a politician, but if I see an issue or a policy that I think are worthy of a conversation, I'm going to bring it up.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's Morning News.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
Progressive knows you want to get away, but not like too away. You crave the unknown, but also charcuterie boards with 4 types of cheese. And that's exactly why you bought an RV and bundled it with Progressive, because 24/7 protection is one luxury you'll never have to give up. So go ahead, explore the wilderness, all from the comfort of your zero-gravity camp chair. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, get early access to our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1490. That's 800-822-1490. 800-822-1490.
If your home is 20 years old or more, it might be time to have your roof inspected. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and at Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we'll help it last as long as possible. Our trained and licensed crew will evaluate your roof, repairing when we can, and offering replacement options only when necessary. Plus, every new install comes protected with a full year of free maintenance on us. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. It's our 49th birthday, and we're celebrating by giving you the gifts. Outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, free Bluetooth music, and interest-free financing for 3 years. Plus, exciting savings on endless pool swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? Ends August 24th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Not all roofs are created equal, and not all warranties are either. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Right now, take advantage of free lifetime Golden Pledge warranties on all GAF shingle installations and save up to $3,000 or choose 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Summertime savings won't last forever. Protect your home with a roof you can count on for decades. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Clutter happens. Let Closets by Design save the day. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, Iranian-backed Houthi rebels launching a new attack on a ship. We have just learned they've killed 4 people in a key shipping lane. Back in court in New York today, accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione.
Tuesday's appearance could be the last time Luigi Mangione is seen in public before jury selection starts on September 8th. The conference is one of the final opportunities for prosecutors and defense lawyers to finalize details of the high-profile trial. Prosecutors allege Mangione gunned down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in an assassination-style killing on a Midtown Manhattan street in 2024. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to state and federal charges, and he faces the possibility of life in prison if he's convicted at his state murder trial. Peter Haralambous, ABC News, New York.
Doctors are now pushing back against the latest recommendations from the Trump administration to roll back childhood vaccine schedules. Search teams still looking for thousands of people still missing after the earthquake in Colombia. This is ABC News. Some of the country's biggest grocery stores are recalling dozens of products with jalapenos amid the growing salmonella outbreak. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze with more.
The FDA says 345 people have been sickened from a salmonella outbreak across 27 states. Most of those people reported eating jalapenos at Chipotle and Qdoba. Health officials have traced the outbreak to jalapenos from Coast Citrus distributors sourced from Mexico. A large supply of the peppers are used by Taylor Farms to make prepared foods sold to grocery stores. Taylor Farms is the same company linked to the deadly cyclosporiasis outbreak from lettuce sourced from a different grower in Mexico.
If you want more information, abcnews.com has an updated list of the latest recalled products. More primaries today. 6 states hold elections, including battleground Wisconsin, where progressives face another big test as state rep Francesca Hong, a Democratic socialist, appears to be the frontrunner in the Democratic primary for governor. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 7:02, here's what's happening. Governor Ferguson says Washington will seek a major disaster declaration for the wildfires by mid-September. That should unlock direct aid for 7 eastern Washington counties. In the meantime, he's suspended evictions and waived fees for fire victims, replacing IDs and birth certificates. A neighborhood group says a weekend event at Denny Blaine Park drew 100 people and lewd acts caught on camera. Claims the city is ignoring a court order to crack down. Regular parkgoers say that's not what they see. And after last week's smoke, air quality across Puget Sound is back to good, at least through tomorrow. It's time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes, and we start with a traffic alert from Sully.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get some more information from the State Patrol on this, but all southbound lanes of 525 are blocked right at the south end of Payne Field there in Mukilteo, right by the Safeway. Again, all southbound lanes are blocked. This is for a crash. State Patrol is responding. Yeah, just got confirmation this is a fatal crash. Investigation may involve a pedestrian. People are familiar with that area. It's a spot that people run across 525 a lot because the Safeway and other stores are there on the west side of the road. There are apartments on the right side of the road. So again, we're waiting on more info, but yeah, just confirmed this is a fatal crash. This is going to be a long-term slowdown. So if you're coming up from the Mukilteo Ferry, or if you're on that side of Payne Field, you're going to have to do some detouring to get around that. Once you get over to I-5, it's kind of a standard day. We've got about an hour drive from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue at this point. The Valley Freeway, about 45 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, about 50. So average there. Olympia to Tacoma is not bad. 16 looks good. 18 over Tiger Mountain, pretty heavy going eastbound over the summit. Lake bridges, though, are in fine shape. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance, heating, cooling, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical. Home Comfort Alliance repairs first, replacing only if it makes sense. Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. Get real pricing 60 seconds. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has the day off. It's 7:04. 2026 is already being called the third worst wildfire season in recent memory.
Spokane took a punch in the gut.
Hundreds of homes have been lost, at least one life. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has more on the long road to recovery in Spokane and beyond.
And Charlie, from far away, it can be really hard to relate to this devastation. The Seattle Times put it best. 2% of our state is on fire right now. The 3 fires around Spokane are responsible for the bulk of the losses. Here's Major General Gent Welsh, the head of our National Guard, who says an army of firefighters are there along with the Guard and the Red Cross.
So when you have a tragedy of, I would call, industrial scale proportion, you absolutely need a response of industrial scale proportion. That response requires an industrial scale response from the federal government, which the governor just outlined. What you're seeing behind me is the response, the industrial scale response from the state government. The mayor is here, local officials, tribal officials. That is the industrial scale response that you should expect from the team that is talking to you today.
They have control over those fires now and have turned their focus to the dangerous mop-up that involves inspecting nearly every square inch of ground, trees, rubble, and homes for hotspots. That mirrors the excruciating process of recovery for people who have lost everything.
You're only going to get through this event, if you're affected by this thing, one day at a time. Small wins are the name of the game.
And yes, the emergency declaration by the governor, that unlocks a lot of different options for people in Spokane. Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer says this is one of them that she was able to do.
The first requires insurers to grant premium grace periods for policyholders impacted by the fires and prohibits them from canceling them if they can't pay the premium.
There's eviction protections and other options as well, including help getting an ID for some people who had to run with nothing. Remember, more than 1,000 square miles in Washington state is on fire, and we have about 2 more months of this.
Jillian Raftery reporting live. We're about 2.5 hours away from Seattle's interim police chief briefing the city council about the Bite of Seattle shooting.
Get out! Get out!
Chief Andre Sales is expected to brief the city council on the response that day. Officers were on the scene within seconds and subdued one of the shooters. Others are believed to have been involved, but no description has been released. Mayor Katie Wilson has ordered a review of the communication to the public that day. Besides an initial post on X, reporters and people there had to wait 5 hours for basic information. Police agencies across the state are getting more than $8 million from the feds.
The federal grants will pay for equipment, training, and personnel, things including drones and emergency medical kits, as well as school resource officers. The 2 largest grants, nearly $6.5 million combined, will go to the State Department of Commerce. The Seattle Police Department and surrounding jurisdictions will receive more than $842,000. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
For over 50 years, this is Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Tuesday, August 11th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda Factor has the day off, but Sully's back after an extended birthday vacation at home.
Stuff.
And on the golf course.
Yeah, lots and lots of bad golf.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of bad golf.
Come on, you had fun, though.
Yeah, I did. Except when it was super slow on Saturday. But, that's to be expected on a sunny summer day. But, yeah, good time. Family, Tommy, we got to spend some time, played a lot of golf. But, yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, well, you weren't here with us on Friday, and that's when our Luke Ducey announced that he has a tumor on his pituitary gland right beneath his skull. Importantly, Luke is having his surgery today.
Yeah.
So all the prayers, all the good thoughts you have, direct them his way.
Yeah, definitely. I sent him a note yesterday. He's feeling upbeat. He's excited.
Yeah.
Just, praying for him, his wife, Charlene, and Grace, and their daughter, and for the surgeons who are doing that work. So, yeah, it's a heavy day for us.
Yes.
So big prayers for Big Luke. I love that dude.
Yeah. So we will. What the great thing is that Luke plans on blogging and writing about all of this.
I know. It's like, come on, man.
Come on, that's exactly what you would do too.
Well, you know me. What was I doing on my time off? I spent all the time emailing and texting and tweeting, and that's who we are as people. But big prayers for Luke and his family, and Godspeed to the surgeon doing that work.
Absolutely. Well, Jillian is filling in for Luke this morning. She'll join us at the top and bottom of each hour. Coming up on this hour of the show, we have our weekly check-in with Leland Vittert, the host of On Balance, weeknights on News Nation. Leland says Iran has President Trump cornered. We'll have him explain that in a few minutes. And in today's commentary, copper wire thieves will not stop the damage until there are more serious consequences. That story is coming up at 7:35. Neighborhood group says their cameras captured alleged sexual activity during a weekend gathering at Seattle's Denny Blaine Park. KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss spoke with Lee Keller, a spokesperson for Denny Blaine Park for All.
It's a very unfriendly and scary way to live, and that's what's happening.
Following a lawsuit brought by Denny Blaine Park for All, a judge ordered the city of Seattle to come up with a plan to address overcrowding, safety, and appropriate behavior, as well as adequately staff, maintain, establish buffers, and have enough signs at the park notifying park users of proper and improper behavior.
It's all left unchecked. The city is not doing anything about it.
For now, the cameras are still on.
A welfare check in Pierce County has quickly turned into a homicide investigation. According to Fox 13 Seattle, deputies found a man dead inside a Spanaway shed yesterday. This is very close to Parkland. Investigators say the victim suffered 2 obvious gunshot wounds to his head. Because there were multiple wounds, detectives ruled out the possibility of suicide. The sheriff's office has not found the murder weapon, named a suspect. Detectives are holding off on releasing the victim's name while they search for clues. If you know anything, deputies would like you to call. Seattle police detectives are investigating a triple shooting at a party in an Airbnb near 10th Avenue East and East Lynn Street. Happened around 12:30 yesterday morning. Officers arrived to find a party underway and evidence of a shooting, but no victims. Shortly after, 2 men and a woman arrived at the hospital with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Here's SPD Detective Shane Weatherford.
Looks like the Airbnb had been written to throw that party. The circumstances leading up to the shooting are still under investigation.
No arrests so far. Seattle police investigating a deadly Monday morning shooting in West Seattle's High Point neighborhood.
SPD says just after midnight, a 28-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the chest was driven to the 2700 block of First Avenue South, then taken to Harborview Medical Center. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries. SPD Detective Shane Weatherford says a motive and suspect are still unclear.
Detectives are still working to determine that. The investigation is ongoing and active.
Anyone with information should call 911. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seahawks reportedly taking a look at former Lions cornerback Terrion Arnold. The Lions released him earlier this summer after his arrest on 8 felony charges tied to a Florida robbery and kidnapping case. Brock Heward with our sister station 710 Seattle Sports says any return to the field would ultimately be up to the NFL.
It's a privilege to be in this league, and the commissioner will very much, I think, put him on the exempt list, which has happened with players in the past, and he will be the one to guide and dictate when this guy's going to play again.
Multiple reports say Seattle hosted Arnold for a visit on Sunday. 7:12 now, time to get a check on the weather, and for that, we're joined by KIRO 7 pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard. Nick, today kind of a repeat of yesterday?
I think so, except that we don't have quite as much low cloud cover, and I think we'll see more sunshine sooner. So it's going to be a nice day, and temperatures should be, a little warmer than what they were. So we're doing okay. I think we'll be right there in the upper 70s and lower 80s. I have us at about, 77 for the high today. It looks really nice. Tomorrow will be slightly cooler because I think you're going to find more clouds to start the day, and eventually there might just be a few pockets where you see like a shower or thunderstorm in the Olympics and or in the Cascades or east of the Cascades. I don't think we really have to worry about that in the lowlands, but you're just going to see a few more clouds. And after that, all we're looking at, maybe a little bit of haze tomorrow night into Thursday. That's it. I mean, I don't think it's going to come through and impact air quality. I think it'd be elevated, but there might just be a little. And then that means on Thursday, you'd have typical morning clouds, afternoon sun. There might just be a little upper level haze on Thursday in the mid to upper 70s. I think that we'd see it get out of here, hopefully on Friday, and go back into the upper 70s, low 80s, and hold that with some sunshine all the way into early next week. So while I do see some haze, and until fires are under better control, we can't really control that, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a huge issue, and it doesn't seem like it's going to cause many problems as of now.
All right, partly cloudy and 59 in Seattle. Time to check traffic every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
And just got another update from the State Patrol on what we're dealing with the closure of southbound 525 there in the Mukilteo area, right at the south end of Payne Field by the Safeway. This is a fatal hit-and-run collision involving a motorcycle. Apparently, a car hit the motorcycle, rider went down. The rider is the one who passed, and the car took off. This is our second kind of similar situation in that same kind of area in the last 2 weeks. So again, a rider has lost his or her life there, and so this is going to be a long-term collision investigation. State Patrol has also closed the turn lane and a left northbound lane, so that area is going to be very, very congested for a while. But there are bigger concerns out there today than maybe you losing a minute or two of time based on the severity of this. Once you get over to the freeways, we got an average day for you guys. Got about an hour and 5 from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour from Everett to Seattle, and yes, we hit the $15 mark in the express toll lane. Looking at Renton to Bellevue, we've got about a 30-minute trip for you, about 50 up the valley from Puyallup to Renton, about 50 as well Federal Way to Seattle, heaviest spot there past the West Seattle Bridge. Tiger Mountain's been pretty heavy all day today in the eastbound direction of 18. The Maple Valley Highway, that is, heavy in Cedar Grove. 16 looks pretty good, though, back and forth between Port Orchard and Tacoma. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Morning, 7:15 now. Stunning details about an elaborate deception to protect President Trump from an Iranian threat. The Washington Post reports that when the president departed the NATO summit in Turkey last month, he was actually sneaked off of Air Force One and onto a military jet using a catering truck. Really speaks to how the Iranians wish ill for President Trump. I want to bring in Leland Vittert. He hosts On Balance every weeknight at 6 on News Nation. Good morning, Leland. What was your initial reaction when you heard this story?
Clearly, the intelligence on the Iranian threat was more significant than we thought it was. And clearly, the Iranians' planning for an attempt on President Trump's life was farther down the line than we understood. And remember, this was, I think, the same day or the day after the U.S. resumed strikes against Iran. What remains stunning to me is that this threat and plot, if you will, on the president's life has gone unpunished by President Trump.
What would a punishment look like?
A punishment would look like a systematic bombing campaign, not just to quote unquote degrade Iran's ability to harass ships in the Strait of Hormuz, but multiple decapitation strikes on the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, on Iran's intelligence services, on the energy facilities and trading facilities that bring in the revenue that supports the Iranian regime, a targeting of Iranian leadership to continue to borrow a phrase, mow the grass of the Iranians' ability to command and control their forces, and further attacks on Iran's infrastructure that has military means or military uses, talking about taking out Pickaxe Mountain and further degrading Iran's ability to sell energy on the market.
You mentioned in your War Notes newsletter, which came out yesterday before this news broke, you can subscribe, by the way, at warnotes.com. You said that the Iranians I guess they're not even negotiations, but they have President Trump in a corner. What do you mean by that?
Well, President Trump is the most powerful man in the world, but the Iranians have figured out that they are able to effectively keep him from doing anything because he's unable to increase strikes and further punish them because of domestic political considerations. The American people do not support this war for a variety of reasons. And number two, he is unable to make a deal with them because they refuse to make a deal with him, and they're going to continue to extract a higher and higher price. It's very clear the Iranians don't just want to win. They want to embarrass President Trump, and they want to try to humiliate him. So Republicans lose, Democrats win in the midterms, which they think will further isolate Trump and make it far easier for them to continue their rise, if you will, after the midterms.
What's your level of confidence this can be wrapped up in a way that's maybe not beneficial, but at least we can leave with our heads held high?
Low.
Yeah. Why do you think that?
Because President Trump has not shown the willingness to endure even the short-term political pain required to bring the Iranians to their knees. The Iranians view this as a 1,400-year-long existential struggle that is worthy of death and martyrdom. President Trump thought this would be a 2-week in and out Venezuela-like quick victory. And when it was not, he very quickly started looking for ways out, an easy victory. And when it comes to fighting religious fanatics, there are no easy victories. And President Trump clearly has indicated that he does not have the political will to follow through on this. And it is impossible, to your point, to have a situation where America can leave with its head held high. The only way to leave a war is by winning it. And very clearly, President Trump is not willing to do what is needed to do to win.
Coming as a backdrop to the midterm elections, which are fewer than 3 months away, how will this affect the elections?
We don't know, Charlie. That's why we have elections. And 90 days is a long time. But clearly, the biggest way it affects elections is on the economy, how people feel about how they're doing financially and how their families are doing financially. And right now, people think things cost too much. Now, we can argue back and forth about what costs too much and why and on, but that doesn't really matter. The fate of an American president for midterm elections is closely tied to gas prices. And gas appears right now to be very expensive for people. Things cost too much. And President Trump has had a couple of years to fix that, and nobody feels like he has.
One of the reactions to the economy, for good or for ill, is the summer of socialism, as you describe it in your newsletter. What were your takeaways when you saw so many Democratic socialists, especially on the East Coast, win in the primary elections?
Well, horror, number one, that Americans want to elect people who clearly think America is evil or somehow flawed in its conception and in its ideas, that there's some original sin to America. That's fine, but the fact that so many people were willing to vote for those people, I think, is inherently horrifying because of what the alternative is. And the idea that socialism has a predictable end. We know what happens because it's happened every other time it's been tried. It is inherently antithetical and contrary not only to the American ideals, but to the human equation. That said, you're in a situation where there is a large group of overeducated, downwardly mobile, almost exclusively white. They're not really upper class, but many come from an upper middle class background, who are malcontent. And they have picked up on this promise of socialism as a way to feel good about themselves. Notably, it's always socialism for everybody else, but not for themselves. That doesn't mean that it's not a powerful drug that is being peddled by, as you point out, the far left. They have merged with the Islamist movement in America, which has always been extraordinarily interested, the Islamist movement, of forming an alliance with the socialist movement. Goes back to Marxist ideology in the 60s and 70s. It's how we got the Ayatollah and the Iranian regime. And that playbook is now being run here in the United States.
Leland Vittert, On Balance, coming up at 6 this evening. Leland, thanks for your time this morning. I know you're enjoying some time away in a cabin. That's some great decorations behind you. My compliments to your dad and your mom for having such a cool place.
Thank you. My father's office, for those of you watching us rather than just listening to us, and I am honored to be able to take up residence for at least a couple of weeks.
Very nice. Okay. Leland Vitter joining us on Seattle's Morning News. Sully, you have a traffic alert for us.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I've got a couple of them, and I'd like to have fun with the second, but I really can't based on the first, because the first one's a fatal crash investigation, which has closed southbound 525 there right at Payne Field, at the south end of Payne Field by the Safeway in Mukilteo. This is a fatal hit-and-run investigation where a motorcyclist lost his or her life in this crash. And so all lanes are blocked southbound 525 there. There is also a northbound impact of a couple of lanes. Once you get over to the freeways, we've got about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue and about an hour from Everett to Seattle. The Renton to Bellevue drive is not bad. I mean, a half an hour for you guys, maybe a little more, depending on how you hit it at the top end. Both directions of I-90 a little slow there, tying into 405. Valley Freeway behind it, about 50 minutes as well. Federal Way to Seattle, really heavy now past the West Seattle Bridge. Olympia to Tacoma looks good. 16 looks pretty decent. 18 over Tiger Mountain's a little heavy. The lake bridges are fine. And now to kind of the palate cleanser, Charlie. Up in the Bellingham area, we've got most of northbound I-5 blocked as you get in through downtown Bellingham. Someone spilled a load of soda. And so the state patrol's out there literally kicking the can down the road. I have video of them kicking the cans, trying to get them out of the way, but they're strewn across the road there. And so there's a pretty sizable backup going northbound I-5 getting into the Bellingham area. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer, presented by T-Mobile. Next show, August 21st. Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
Partly cloudy and 57 right now in Seattle. Coming up, more of the day's top headlines. In today's 7:35 commentary, copper wire thieves doing hundreds of thousands of dollars of property damage. I explore one case in Kent at 7:35 here on Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, 3 to 7.
Data centers, good, bad. Cleellum deciding they're going to put a moratorium on it, and they'll set them up somewhere else. Yes, it's only 70 jobs, but if you could tax the hell out of the place, kick out some money, believe me, a little town of Cleellum, my little town, could certainly use it. Sometimes people just don't want it in their own backyard. They're driven by their own selfishness.
Watch live or later on the John Curley Show's YouTube channel.
Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Well, don't sweat it. Bucky's Complete Auto Care is here to help. Right now, you'll save $50 on any AC service. Whether it's a weekend getaway or the daily commute, you deserve a cool, comfortable ride. For over 50 years, local drivers have trusted Bucky's for honest pricing, expert repairs, and guaranteed work, earning them the Carfax Preferred status. 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing. For $50 off your cooling system service, visit Bucky's.com.
Holy smokes, I can see. Hey, everybody, it's Rick Riz, and I just had refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision, and it's amazing. K2 Vision RLE means no more readers or glasses for me. Plus, I'll never get a cataract. Now, when I call a game, you won't see those readers dangling from the end of my nose to see the field and then my notes. I only wish I had done it sooner. It's like seeing a whole new ball game. K2 Vision RLE was quick and painless, over in just minutes, and I knew I was in great hands. The K2 Vision RLE team has done over 150,000 lens procedures. You can trust their stuff. K2 Vision RLE is my permanent solution to a lifetime of great vision. It could be yours too. Enjoy life's good years without readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Get your free Zoom consult now at K2VisionRLE.com. Then you can make the same call I did. Goodbye, glasses. K2VisionRLE.com.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Beat the rain and beat the mad rush. Valentine Roofing is now offering priority scheduling for your roof replacement. When you call Valentine Roofing today, they can get your job started within 3 weeks of signing the agreement. And they make the process so simple. You're going to receive an estimate with transparent pricing and options that fit your needs in about an hour. So call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Jane is a small business owner. Tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
The Total Solutions Advantage. No one does business like Comcast Business.
The more solutions you add, the more you save. Get started today with a qualifying internet package for as low as $60 a month when you add an advanced solution. Plus, new customers, ask how to get up to $1,500 in prepaid cards when you add 2 lines of mobile to a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Prepaid card offers end 9/13/2026.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better. Better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
I felt like I had pins and needles sticking into my feet, like they were on fire. Couldn't figure out what was going on and suffered with it. Very uncomfortable to try to get to sleep. So I started to do some research, and it sounded like it might be peripheral neuropathy. If you have it in your feet, it migrates up towards your knees. So I thought I better take care of this. My primary care physician was only offering me gabapentin. It's a nerve blocker, and it didn't make a difference. Maybe toned it down a little bit, but it was so painful to walk. I called Sound Pain Solutions, and right away I got a good feeling. Had my first appointment. They said, "We're going to help you. We're going to get through this." So I said, "Okay, let's do it."
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We use non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers find relief.
My husband and I went on a trip through the Panama Canal, and being able to walk was really delightful.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
It's Olympic Hot Tub's 49th birthday, and you get the gifts. Big savings on saltwater hot spring spas, plus free Bluetooth music and interest-free financing for 3 years. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, I'm Charlie Harger. During the shooting at the Bite of Seattle, the public was left with little information for hours. Now, Seattle's mayor has ordered an investigation into the city's communication that day. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery was there that day and joins us live.
Charlie, I will never forget the huge crowd that waited for almost 5 hours for any word from police on what was going on. There was an initial ex post that said there was a shooting, but that was it until detectives said they were waiting for dignitaries.
Dignitaries that want to be here. Well, we have the public that wants to be here.
You can hear the journalists pressing for answers. There was a lot of impatience and a lot of tension. Mayor Wilson, Governor Ferguson, and Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal were all there at the eventual press conference, which happened around 10 o'clock at night, but they all denied being responsible for the delay of information release. The president of Seattle's police union said this to KIRO News Radio later.
For being honest, when the mayor's office stepped into it, I think that's when kind of this mishandling happened. You know, the delay in press conference, I do think there's more to the story about waiting for dignitaries.
You and I have both covered a lot of mass tragedy events, and I want to bring it back to why this matters. When I got there, one of the first things I noticed were people were still arriving to the Bite of Seattle and being turned away at the Space Needle. The lack of information left a vacuum. Initially, the mayor's office put out an inaccurate statement saying 2 people had been arrested. There was ultimately only 1 arrest. Families who dropped everything to run were needing things back. They were waiting for word from police. They had dropped car seats, strollers, purses with keys. There were no emergency alerts, so those people kept arriving. And there were questions about safety. It was unclear whether there was an active shooter. We've seen this in the past where there is one location and then there's secondary locations.
Yes.
And
so, it just gets to the point. You have people sheltering in place. There are thousands of people who are frightened for their lives, and no clear communication. Hey, the coast is clear. And that is something that I think I hope this audit addresses.
I hope so, too. It will be interesting. The Inspector General is going to handle this. And, it's great that there is going to be an analysis of what's happening. There's been a lot of finger pointing so far back and forth. Here's the mayor's explanation. She was pressed a lot in the days after this horrible tragedy.
As soon as we coordinated with SPD and agreed that it was time to talk to the media, as soon as we knew that we were going to be doing that, I and Governor Ferguson and Congresswoman Jayapal arrived on the scene within minutes.
We'll be following this.
Julian Raftery reporting live. Time to check in with Sully for traffic every 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've got a pretty heavy drive out of the Snohomish County area, but nothing out of the line over what we've been used to with Revive I-5. Hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue with an hour away from Linwood. Breaks there in the usual places. Looking at northbound I-5, getting closer to an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Heavy up past the Kent Des Moines, but the show is really past the West Seattle Bridge. Rented to Bellevue, 35 minutes. S-curves are active, so is South Bellevue. Behind that, the Valley Freeway's at 50 minutes. Eastbound 512 also really slowed down the South Hill. And we continue to work with this traffic alert on impacting both directions of 525, the Mukilteo Speedway there, just south of the Safeway there by the Beverly Park Road area in Mukilteo. This is a fatal crash involving a hit and run and a motorcycle. Southbound lanes are all blocked. Northbound, at least the turn lane and the left general purpose lane are blocked. That's your KIRO News Radio traffic. Now to our weather forecast. We're looking at a pretty decent day today. Not too cloudy, plenty of sunshine, maybe even getting a little bit better the next couple of days. We're expecting a high not quite to 80 degrees around. Right now, we've got a really pleasant morning, 60 degrees outside the KIRO News Radio studios.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
Time for the 735 commentary. $113.40. That's what the copper was worth at the recycler. The business it came from has lost more than $90,000 because of the theft. And the guy who allegedly did it just got bench warrant number 40. Let me back up. According to the charging documents, security cameras recorded two people arriving at an Eagle beverage warehouse in Kent around 6 a.m. on Christmas Day, 2024. They had bolt cutters. They had a powered hacksaw. They discussed having a better plan for removing the heavy gauge copper cables connecting a commercial generator to the building. They left on foot, came back in broad daylight in a Ford F-150, pulled those cables, loaded them up, and drove off. Eagle Beverage makes plastic cutlery for restaurants. They need that generator because PSE can't supply enough power for them. No cables, no generator, no production. We're told each day offline cost the company about $12,000, and they were dark for 6 operating days. And this was the second time Eagle's been hit. The first copper theft at the same warehouse had already cost them about $90,000. And this second theft in all set them about the same amount. Kent police matched the truck from security video through a flock camera that day. They were able to find it that afternoon, impounded it, then waited more than 2 months for a judge to approve the search warrant. When they finally got in, they found cable casing from the stolen lines. On the floorboard, a receipt from Valley Recycling in Pacific dated December 26. 36 pounds of copper at $3.15 a pound. So $113.40. And on the receipt, in handwriting, the license plate number for that Ford F-150. The thief made $113.40 for copper that cost a business more than $90,000 to recover from. Now, one thing worth saying, Valley Recycling did the right thing here. They recorded the plate number. They identified the seller and his passenger. They cooperated fully with Kent police. That's exactly what prosecutors are asking every metal recycler in the state to do. Valley did it voluntarily. A lot of recyclers don't, and that's the gap. The fix is straightforward. King County prosecutors want to require metal recyclers to use the same online database pawn shops already use. Pawn shops record what they buy, who sold it, and hold the merchandise for a bit before selling it. Police can search it. The database exists. The model works. One bill. Now, the legislature ended the session without voting on it. I did a commentary on this earlier in the summer. The catalytic converter bill took 3 years to pass while everybody's Prius got gutted. When a law went into effect, the market dried up. Take away the buyer and the crime stops paying. Now the suspect. The charging documents show 39 bench warrants over the years for his arrest. Felony convictions for identity theft, stolen property, burglary, attempting to elude a pursuing vehicle, going back more than 2 decades. And oh yeah, he's about to turn 70 next month. 70. He was supposed to be arraigned yesterday on first-degree theft and first-degree malicious mischief. Guess what? He didn't show up for his court date. Prosecutors made a motion for a bench warrant, and this is, by my count, the 40th bench warrant he's had against him in his 70 years of life. $113.40 and a powered hacksaw. That's what $90,000 in damage cost to inflict. And that's the 735 commentary for Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. Join the chat on our YouTube Live at KIRO Newsradio or leave a comment at mynorthwest.com. Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at this fatal hit-and-run crash up in the Mukilteo area impacting 525. We'll talk about it next.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Summer calls for road travel across our region. Have you noticed more vehicles on our highways and local roads? Obviously, traffic in the city is going to be crowded, especially with the Ship Canal Bridge construction. But there have been a ton more people heading north on I-5 and east on I-90 for weekends and holidays than again on Sundays coming home. More people on the roads means more accidents. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself on the shoulder exchanging information. If you're one of the unlucky ones or know a friend or family member, reverse your fortune by having Harold Carr Law Offices deal with insurance. While you're resting, receiving physical therapy, and taking time off work, Harold Carr Law Offices will negotiate with insurance on your behalf while compiling necessary paperwork and getting you the best recovery possible. 7 locations across Western Washington and a track record of success for their clients. Carr is spelled with 2 R's. C-A-R-R. CarLaw.com. C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call Carr.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. There's been a rash of reports of fake contractors ripping homeowners off for roof replacements and other jobs. That's why it is so important to know the company coming to your home. And that's why I put my name behind Valentine Roofing. Every customer can expect the Valentine experience. That's seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. So if you think your roof is on its last legs, if you want to beat the rain and beat the mad rush, Valentine Roofing is now offering priority scheduling for your roof replacement. That means when you call Valentine Roofing today, they can get your job started within 3 weeks of signing the agreement. And they make the process so simple. You can expect an estimate with transparent pricing and options that fit your needs in about an hour. Since 2008, thousands of Western Washington homeowners like me have chosen Valentine Roofing for their roofing needs, and you can trust them too. So call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
7:43 now. We check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic on the 3s.
And we have large impacts, Charlie, in both directions of 525, the Mukilteo Speedway, just at the south end of Payne Field, right by Beverly Park Road. This is where we have a fatal crash investigation involving a hit-and-run. Motorcyclist lost his or her life in this crash, and so there's a big investigation going on. All southbound lanes are blocked, and people are being detoured, but northbound also has the left turn lane blocked and a left lane blocked as well, and so we're seeing a big slowdown even in the opposite direction of this crash. Again, this is off the freeway, but a very popular area for people back and forth to Mukilteo, heading down to the ferry dock, or trying to get to Payne Field to work at Boeing, whatever. So this is a long-term investigation. Back to our freeways, though, and we've got a relatively normal Tuesday, which means a slow go on southbound 405 from before Canyon Park all the way down through Bothell, kind of meandering through Totem Lake. Have an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue, about an hour and 20 as well from Everett to Seattle, though the brake lights there begin right around 175th in Shoreline and then work their way down almost to 520 now. So not a great day for you guys, but again, nothing out of the ordinary. About an hour Federal Way to Seattle from the beginnings of Boeing Field up until you get to the West Seattle Bridge is where you have the heaviest braking. Valley Freeway about 50 as well, maybe a little bit heavier. The drive from about 212th and Kent is really slow, and then Renton to Bellevue is 35 minutes. Lake bridges are okay, a little westbound slowing across Mercer Island, but nothing you can't handle. Eastbound 18 over Tiger Mountains, normal. Olympia to Tacoma, no problems. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. If your car AC blowing warm air, well, don't sweat it. Save $50 on any AC service at Bucky's. 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed. Bucky's.com.
Headed for a high in the mid to upper 70s in Seattle today. Right now, it's 57. Sully, what's coming up in your choke point?
We're going to take a look at the upcoming closures. 19 days of lane closures up near Deception Pass on SR 20. We'll tell you about it coming up next.
We're here for Closets by Design. Mornings fall apart when closets don't work, the pantry's jam, garage is useless. That's because most homes were never designed for real life. What I've learned about Closets by Design is it's not just closets. They do garages, pantries, laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds, all custom built in Kent. Nothing off a shelf. Everything finally has a place. Limited time 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
We have 19 days of massive congestion coming just north of Deception Pass. Sully, you, on your time off, you were on vacation, but But you still decided to check out the construction zone.
Yeah, I did, because when you shut down a road for 19 days, I want to get a better handle on why they needed to do that. And I'm glad I got eyes on it. And as you can see when David plays some of the video that I shot up there, this is between Deception Pass and Anacortes on State Route 20. And traveling that corridor is not going to be easy starting next Monday. That's when the Department of Transportation is going to activate new temporary traffic signals there at Campbell Lake Road. They will only allow one direction of travel through the construction zone at a time. This construction zone is about 4 miles north of Deception Pass. So this is going to impact people coming off the north end of Whidbey Island, or for those heading south toward Whidbey from Anacortes. This one-lane alternating traffic is going to stay in place for 19 straight days, 24 hours a day. Signals go live at 6 a.m. next Monday, and they're scheduled to stay active through 6 p.m. on Friday, September 4th. Why is that an important date? Well, that's the Friday before the start of Labor Day weekend. And if that road is down to one lane alternating through most of that day's travel, that is really going to have an impact. So what's WashDOT doing in the area that requires such a move? Well, it's building a new roundabout at the three-way intersection there. Going to help improve safety and help drivers coming from Campbell Lake Road access SR20. I sat up there for a while last week, watched the drivers sit, looking for a way to get onto the highway there from that side road. And then a few of them kind of jumped into some pretty tight gaps. So it's pretty obvious to see why they need to do this. WashDOT's Elizabeth Mount told me the contractor needs 19 days, though, because they've got to raise the dirt level on the east side of the highway to put in this roundabout.
Build up the roadbed beneath eastbound SR20 to meet that final grade of the roundabout, and a temporary layer of asphalt will be applied to be used by the eastbound traffic during that settlement period.
And I can see why it's going to take so long to fill, and you can too from the video that I shot there. The road slopes down severely. The west side of the road appears to be 5 to 10 feet above the east side, so they got to fill in that hole. And it's going to take some time. After the 19 days of closures, WashDOT's going to return two-way traffic to the corridor for about 6 months. WashDOT's Melissa Ambler says that will allow the dirt to settle and then give the contractor an idea of how much dirt they will have to add at the end before they can start building the roundabout.
We'll be raising the road this year, and because of the poor soils in the area, we need to wait and see if any of it settles. We'll be back next year. We'll survey the area and see if we're still at the proper elevation. And if we're not, then we'll build it up again and then build the roundabout.
Once work on that roundabout begins next year, WashDOT will once again reduce SR20 to one lane of alternating traffic, but this time for up to 54 days. Speed limit already been reduced to 40 miles an hour in this area, and I will tell you that it is being monitored closely by the State Patrol. Saw several troopers patrolling that area last week. The only real way to avoid the backups in this area is to take Rosario Road, which is right up just north of Deception Pass, but that's an even smaller road, really can't handle much capacity. I'd like to see that as a locals only. Really not a good option for those of you, getting up there recreating or for the freight that moves through that area. The best bet is to avoid peak times on this road, or maybe go to the south end of Whidbey and catch a ferry over, because this north end part of that corridor between the north end of Whidbey and Anacortes is not going to be easy with one lane alternating traffic there.
So this is, as we approach a major holiday, people going through there. I'm just thinking of being stuck with a trailer behind me and I'm trying to head somewhere fun. This is something that can be very impactful.
Yeah, and again, this is scheduled to be one lane alternating through almost all of the travel day on Friday in advance of Labor Day. So not just the last couple of sunny weekends here in August, but potentially Labor Day impact. As part of this, they're also rerouting a little fish passage project through the area. But this work needs to get done. You can see it once you get up there. But yeah, this is impactful. I mean, 19 days of that's already a slow road when it's busy anyway. A 2-lane kind of windy road there. And then to add this in, again, starting next Monday, this is going to have an impact.
This is coming as all these construction projects have to take place when it's warm and dry out. I think about my upcoming trip across the Vantage Bridge. I'm already dreading it.
Yeah, again, that one, the good news for that, and I will double check, I believe they will take Labor Day off. for going across Vantage and open it back up to 2 lanes in both directions. There are a couple of
I saw much of the eastbound lanes basically torn apart, so that would require something special.
Well, I will and I'll get back to you here after this traffic report, because there are several. When I did a choke point on that earlier this year, there are several weekends that they are going to not do construction, and Labor Day was one of them. But let me confirm. But yeah, that you don't want to get stuck in that Vantage mess in both directions. Plus, we had a fire there a week just south of the bridge about a week ago. And this weekend, a bunch of local road closures, too. Again, we're talking the 405s, the 520s. They're trying to beat the weather, Charlie. Try to beat the weather.
And they're keeping you employed.
Yeah.
7:53, traffic on the 3s. Where do we start?
Which is really all anybody cares about. It's not getting around. It's whether or not I get paid. Right? And I'm still here. Looking at the roads, Charlie, right now, kind of a standard day on our freeways. Tuesday is usually one of our heavier days of the week, and we're definitely seeing that, especially in the North End Drive as you come down from Linwood. Hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue with an hour from Linwood. Very slow in the usual suspect locations. I am looking for something on northbound I-5 right at the merge from the West Seattle Bridge, because that's kind of gotten all slow, as has the eastbound direction of the West Seattle Bridge. It's backed up from the high rise all the way over to I-5, and we're running an hour on I-5, maybe a little bit more from Federal Way to Seattle, so not a great day there. Valley Freeway about 50 as well. Renton to Bellevue's up over 40. Those S-curves are active, and we're slow up past the VMAC, plus we have stuff into the south end of Bellevue. Across the lake, not too bad. Some westbound slowing from Mercer Island to the Mount Baker Tunnel. 520 basically wide open. Olympia to Tacoma's not bad. 16 looks good. 18 over Tiger Mountain Summit a little heavy, but again, nothing out of the ordinary. Our one outlier continues to be the blockage of southbound 525, the Mukilteo Speedway, right there at the south end of Payne Field at Beverly Park Drive. If you know the area, right by the Safeway. This is a fatal hit-and-run investigation involving a motorcycle. A lot of activity and a lot of investigation, and so lanes are closed. All southbound is blocked. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
We're heading for a high in the upper 70s today in Seattle. A lot of sun this afternoon. Tomorrow, pretty much the same thing. Might have a few more clouds, but we don't have much rain in the forecast in the foreseeable future. Right now, it's 58 in Seattle. Coming up, more of the day's top headlines. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery, an update on the wildfire conditions in Spokane, what the governor is saying. That's on the way on Seattle's Morning News. I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's Morning News.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
The Boeing Classic welcomes the world's greatest golf legends to the Pacific Northwest, August 14th through the 16th at the Club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Watch Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers compete for a $2.3 million purse at the only PGA Tour champion stop in the region. Bring the whole family and make sure to check out the Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BoeingClassic.com to get yours today.
Back to savings at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a free MicroGuard Select oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Limit supply.
O'Reilly. Auto Parts.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey. Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
With Guardian Roofing Gutters and Insulation, maintenance is the key to a long-lasting roof. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? Call us today. Our first-time customers can save $99. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Pre-trial hearing underway for the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back in 2024. ABC's Matt Rivers is outside the courthouse in New York City.
In all likelihood, this is going to be the last time that we see Luigi Mangione in court before jury selection in what plans to be a blockbuster state trial that will begin right after Labor Day. Now, today's hearing is a pre-trial conference to try and iron out those last-minute details, including media access and what is likely to be one of the most high-profile trials that we have seen in quite some time.
Heavy equipment is still being used to lift concrete from piles of debris left after the 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. The death toll, more than 160 people, and expected to rise. At least 3,000 people are missing, many of them trapped under debris. Soldiers, rescue personnel, and families are picking through the rubble. Existing home sales fell in July as many prospective buyers stayed home. This is ABC News. President Trump is getting pushback from doctors who say his executive order cutting the number of recommended childhood vaccines from 18 to 11 is reckless. They're also speaking out against another plan, splitting the measles, mumps, and rubella or whooping cough vaccine into 3 separate shots. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
The president and HHS Secretary Kennedy, a longtime vaccine skeptic, continue to claim without scientific evidence that vaccines are tied to autism and are arguing that breaking up these vaccines will somehow make them safer, even though decades of scientific studies show there is no link between vaccines and autism.
Primary elections are taking place in 6 states today. In the Minnesota governor's race, the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, who's being sued for repeating unfounded theories about President Trump's 2020 election loss, leads a crowded Republican primary. And in Wisconsin, Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong is ahead in most polls in the Democrat race for governor there. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, here's what's happening. Washington now enduring its 3rd worst fire season in 20 years, with more than 720,000 acres burned. We'll hear from Jillian Raftery with what that means for the state. Seattle police are investigating a triple shooting at a party at a Capitol Hill Airbnb early yesterday morning. 3 people showed up at hospitals with gunshot wounds, no arrests so far. A suspected gas thief sparked a 2-vehicle fire at a Bellevue apartment complex. Flames reached nearly 2 stories after someone drilled into a truck's gas tank and drove off. And the air around here has cleared a bit after last week's smoke. The monitors show air quality is back to good, and they should stay that way through at least tomorrow. Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes, and it's been a busy Tuesday morning for you, Sully.
And it's also a sad one because we have our second motorcycle fatality on the Mukilteo Speedway in the last couple of weeks. This one happened this morning, southbound 525, right at the south end of Payne Field, right there by Beverly Park Drive. All southbound lanes remain blocked. The couple of northbound lanes and the left turn lane is blocked northbound. Again, this is a hit-and-run investigation as well. State Patrol doesn't have any car information yet, but it was the rider that was killed in this. And so long-term investigation ongoing at the south end of Payne Field. There are detours in place, so keep that in mind. Once you get over to the freeways, kind of a standard Tuesday, which means really heavy brake lights in the usual places. Hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue with an hour from Linwood on either one. Northbound I-5 is a lot heavier past the West Seattle Bridge than I'd like to see. I haven't been able to find any crashes there. Hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Eastbound across the West Seattle Bridge is backed up all the way from the high-rise. Rented to Bellevue, a little under 40 minutes. Valley Freeway back under 50. We're getting better in Auburn, but it's still kind of heavy at the north end. Northbound 5 a little slowing into South Tacoma, but nothing that you can't handle. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. Manda Factor has a morning off. I'm Charlie Harger. The air may be clearer now, but more than 500,000 square acres are on fire in Washington state.
And we're only halfway through this fire season. We have a long way to go.
KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery is here live with an update on the fires in Spokane and beyond.
And those 3 fires in Spokane are finally mostly under control. That's after burning more than 900 structures.
Spokane took a punch in the gut. And what you're seeing out there is a community that is absolutely reacting to that, neighbors helping neighbors, and really the whole of government response here that you see behind you.
That's Major General Gent Welsh, who is the head of Washington's National Guard, and he says more than 1,700 firefighters are on the ground. 2 helicopter bases were used to attack those flames, and every first responder within miles and miles has been working around the clock, including crews from out of state. And that's just one fire. Here's Public Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove.
Washington is in the middle of an extraordinary fire season. As we stand here this morning, there are 21 large fires burning over 539,000 acres.
And more fires are starting, he said. The Little Giant fire has been going on for a month now. 116,000 acres near Leavenworth burned more than 20 structures. The Grand Park 2 fire is one of the new ones that's near Mount Rainier. And of course, Sunrise is closed and they had to chop down a bunch of trees there to protect the visitor center. Like you heard earlier, we have about 2 months of fire season to go. Many people are worried about new fires, not just in agricultural territory and in the mountains, but also close to large urban centers like Seattle. So there's a lot of precautions being taken. And Dave Upthegrove said as soon as fire season is over, there's a lot of after action that's going to happen.
Moves towards rebuilding the lands. That's assessing erosion, flood risks, landslide risks, impacts to watersheds, and determining what the landscape needs to recover. And we will be here for the long haul.
Meanwhile, people in Spokane do need your help. The Red Cross is on the ground and says they could use volunteers or even donations. So if you want to help, that's how.
Well, speaking of those donations, Jillian, a shipment of emergency food and supplies from Seattle to Spokane is being delayed after a truck broke down.
One group ran into slight issues yesterday while preparing those supplies. Food Lifeline's items were stacked inside the warehouse, but the transport truck that was supposed to go to Spokane, well, it broke down. So that means the shipment will need to wait at least one more day. Right now, we're working to find out if the truck is repaired and ready to head out today.
That's KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon. Pierce County deputies are investigating a deadly discovery inside a backyard shed. Fox 13 Seattle reports a man was found shot to death yesterday afternoon in Spanaway. Someone who knew the victim called 911, asked deputies to check on his welfare. That's where they found him lying on the floor of a shed with 2 gunshot wounds to the head. Detectives say the multiple wounds prove it wasn't a suicide. So they're investigating as a homicide. Shooter still on the run. If you know anything, deputies would like you to call. It's 8:07 here on Seattle's Morning News.
keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, good morning, and glad you could join us today. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda has the day off. Sully is making his triumphant return.
I only had a couple days off. It's only 3 days off. I've been off a lot this summer. I have been. Usually, well, this is what happens when you don't have a son to follow playing college football every weekend, where all my vacation was taken up on Fridays and Mondays. Yeah. I've been able to take weeks, and plus Holly had her little issue. I had to take some time for that, and so I'm like a regular person taking vacation again.
Normal vacation time. No kidding. You've worked here, 20 plus years?
Something like that. 2004? Yeah, 22 years.
So vacation time does tend to accrue, and you got to use it or lose it.
Not to take a shot across the bow at Ursula, but I don't have as much as she does because she's been here longer, and they stopped accruing. She grandfathered in a little bit more. Oh, I love that. So I'm super jealous of her. Yeah. But no, I get a pretty decent amount of time off. Plus, I work, holidays sometimes, so we get comp days here and there. So, yeah, and I've got another vacation coming up. No. After Labor Day, we're going to go watch the Bobcats play 2 games, one in Bozeman and one down in Nevada. So to see the old friends from Montana. So, yeah, I've been taking a lot of time. I know, but I need it. I'm getting old, man.
That's so true. Another member of our team, Luke Ducey, he is having the surgery happening right now. That's the pituitary gland right beneath his brain. He talked about this on Friday, and it sounded like limited communication. He was in good spirits going in this morning.
Yeah, I got a text from his wife, Charlene, this morning. She sent a picture of him. Yeah. He was giving like a dopey thumbs up like Luke does on his way into surgery. He's got good spirits. They've got a really good surgeon involved in this, and so hopefully, we're saying prayers for Luke and his family, and guiding the surgeon to do the. Yeah, it's fascinating, but super scary.
It sure is.
Scary.
It sure is.
So just saying big prayers for him.
And so glad that Luke was able to share that with everyone on Friday, keeping people up to speed. And he'll be blogging about this on My Northwest throughout this ordeal. So thank you for that, Luke.
Glad they found it too. That's a good. Dudes, we especially at our age, we're not good at seeing doctors.
Yeah, he advocated for himself. So cool.
For a lot of different for insides, outsides, top and bottom dudes, we just don't go to the doctor, and we should. We got to take care of ourselves.
Okay. Coming up this hour of the show, ABC News reporter Arthur Jones II on some changes being made by the Trump administration to vaccines being required for children. It's sounding the alarm for pediatricians across the country. We'll hear details from Arthur. And G. Scott stops by with a new survey looking at what makes you a native Northwesterner. She has some thoughts. It is 8:10 here on Seattle's Morning News. After the deadly gang-related mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle and the response from officials, Mayor Katie Wilson says the city needs a better communication plan when major events happen. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Tyra Majors.
The review will look at when information was released, if there were delays, and what caused them, with recommendations for improving communication during future emergencies. Interim Seattle Police Chief Andre Sales wrapped up his first week on the job. He says better communication is one of his early priorities at SPD, and that his department is committed to transparency. So here's the timeline for the review. The Office of Inspector General's findings will be shared with the Mayor's Office and Seattle City Council's Public Safety Committee, and the final report will be posted publicly on the OIG website. The review is expected to be completed by mid-December.
Renton taking extreme measures to guarantee its police cameras are not tracking you. King 5 reports the city council voted last night to physically cover up all 23 automated license plate readers, the flock cameras. Renton, the first city in the western United States to mandate the physical covers while officials decide what to use to cover the cameras. Other cities have simply used black trash bags. It's 8:12. Let's get a check on the weather, and for that, we head over to KIRO 7 TV meteorologist Nick Aller.
You can count on some low cloud cover and then sunshine. Going to be a beautiful day today. Just know you're going to find some low clouds to start the day, and then, yes, we will clear, and I expect we'll get up to about 77 tomorrow. A few more clouds, and I think while we're still going to see plenty of sunshine, it's just not going to be as much. And then there might be a few showers and thunderstorms in the Cascades, the Olympics, and east of the Cascades. So just keep that in mind. That might even push in a little bit of smoke and haze, elevated stuff tomorrow night into Thursday with morning clouds, afternoon sun Thursday, and then back into some sunshine for the weekend and highs right around 80.
Let's take a look at temperatures around the map. Walla Walla, it's 74. In Everett, it's 59. Olympia, 59. And in Seattle, we're warmed up to 61. It's 8:13 now. Let's check traffic every 10 minutes. Here's Sully.
And we are working on a relatively typical Tuesday out there, Charlie. Brake lights on the freeways are right where they should be. For those of you coming down from the Linwood area on both 5 and 405, kind of the standard delays for you guys. For 405, it's from before Canyon Park down through Bothell, kind of meandering down through Totem Lake. For I-5, it's for right around 145th all the way down across the Ship Canal Bridge. Hour drives away from Linwood, hour and 20 all the way from the Everett area. So no real surprises for you guys there. Northbound I-5, Olympia to Tacoma looks pretty good. Up the hill to 18, no problems there. And then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour. It's still really slow from the beginnings of Boeing Field past the West Seattle Bridge. Appears to just be volume. I haven't found anything there other than a lot of people trying to get out of West Seattle on the bridge there and then tying into I-5. So that just appears to be standard volume. Valley Freeway, though, has cleared out. Some brake lights in Auburn. We might have a crash near Emerald Downs. I'm checking into that. That one kind of went back to red just about 90 seconds ago. But overall, we're under 50 from Federal Puyallup to Renton. And Renton to Bellevue's back under 40 minutes, so that's good. Both directions of I-90, a little heavy right at 405. Lake Bridges, though, are fine. Eastbound over Tiger Mountain, still slow right over the summit. 16 looking good, pretty good from Port Orchard to Tacoma or the other direction. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
As the Salmonella and Cyclospora outbreaks continue to worry Americans, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. celebrated his Eat Real Food campaign in front of giant pictures of lettuce and other fruits and vegetables at an event. I want to get some details from ABC's Arthur Jones II. Good morning, Arthur. Can you break down what this campaign from RFK Jr. is all about?
Well, Kennedy's Eat Real Food campaign, really a noble cause to get Americans to eating more whole, nutrient-dense foods, protein, fruits and vegetables, just for Americans to eat healthier. That's one of his main causes. And so this was a major reform and rollout here to discuss the ultra-processed definition that they're trying to implement to the federal government. But this all is happening as two major food outbreaks in the U.S. continue. The cyclosporiasis cases continue, and they are tied to iceberg lettuce, and also these salmonella cases, which are tied to jalapenos. And so it was really striking to see him mentioning eating fruits and vegetables, standing in front of poster boards with lettuce behind him as this outbreak is tied to that very food.
And Arthur, it seems as if the food pyramid that we all knew growing up, where you eat a lot of grains and breads and stuff like that, that's supposed to be the base of it. This food pyramid has become inverted.
Yes, he inverted the food pyramid so that Americans focus on protein and whole nutrient-based foods. I mean, it certainly is a noble cause from many health experts, but they're saying that a lot of the foods that he's asking Americans to prioritize aren't always the most affordable. And we talk about people who live in food deserts and places that don't have access to good grocery stores, that this could cause problems for Americans as well. And it doesn't hit at the affordability piece, even though it is a worthy cause to say, go out and eat fruits, eat vegetables. Of course, that's what Americans need to be eating.
We're speaking with Arthur Jones II from ABC News. President Trump also yesterday signed an executive order to change the schedule for children to get vaccines for several conditions. Can you tell us about this?
President Trump has been on a crusade to overhaul the childhood vaccine schedule, and that's one of the reasons why he has Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in at the helm. And so basically, even though he's been talking and discussing this for months, this was a major announcement to reduce the number of vaccinations from 18 down to 11. And the major key point out of the White House yesterday is the MMR vaccine, which is a single dose vaccine that is now going to be separated out into 3 separate shots. And so when you talk about reduction and overhauling the vaccination schedule so that kids take less shots, this, and in fact, would have them taking more.
Oh, my kids would love that. What kind of reaction are we hearing from pediatricians?
They are really condemning and criticizing this, especially saying that people and families should be trusting their physicians and their doctors and not the government on this issue. They're saying that this mixed messaging now is causing more confusion, but the White House has said that they want to put power back into the hands of parents and give the autonomy over their children's health back to the parents, but it's also something where we have seen the president and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. espouse these unfounded claims about vaccines. One of them, President Trump said that these childhood vaccinations, the MMR ones in particular, have been lethal in certain cases. There is no evidence to support that. And both Kennedy and Trump have talked about how a rise in childhood autism is linked to vaccines, and dozens of studies covering millions of people would suggest otherwise.
Where do these two announcements, the food pyramid, for lack of a better word, and the immunizations, where does this rank for RFK Jr. in terms of what his stated goals were coming in?
Secretary Kennedy's stated goals is to end the chronic disease epidemic in the country, and especially for children, and the so-called obesity epidemic in children. His food pyramid and these ultra-processed food condemnation announcements are really top of mind always for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He just started a YouTube show called Eat Real Food, where he talks to chefs about, how Americans can bring, healthier ingredients into their households. This is something that he is working on daily and has been working on for several months. This, some might say, is the top priority for Kennedy outside of bringing transparency to the healthcare industry. So I would say that announcement yesterday, sitting at the health department, seeing really the bells and whistles, all of the lights and the fanfare, is one of his top priorities.
And plenty of pushback to it, so it's a complicated story, and I appreciate you helping us break it down. ABC's Arthur Jones II, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
8:20 now. A dispute over Denny Blaine Park is heating up again. KIRO 7 TV's Nia Bliss spoke with Lee Keller, a spokesperson for the group Denny Blaine Park for All.
Some neighbors claim a big event brought out a big crowd to Denny Blaine over the weekend.
People who live in the area said there was probably 100 people there.
Keller says not only did someone from this gathering pull down part of the barrier, which divides the park from its lower clothing optional section.
A lot of illegal and illicit activities that we have been asking the city to step in and stop happened. The masturbation, the sex acts, the rest of it.
She says the event was captured on camera, and parts of it are now on the Denny Blaine Park for All website.
One of my favorite stories of the morning here, movie crews are back on the streets of Seattle. According to Deadline, Friend Thing is set in 1996 during Seattle's grunge era and centers on a teenager caught between his longtime friends and a new girl who changes his world. The film stars, I don't know who they are, Alfie Williams, Ryan Kiera Armstrong, and Pete Holmes. I know who Pete Holmes is. Louis Black will be in it. And Seattle radio personality Marco Collins. I don't know if it's actually Marco or a character is playing Marco in this movie. Sully, it's almost impossible to describe. In 1996, here I am. I'm 21 years old. Marco had such a run on The End. He was the music director, did the evening show. And in terms of like musical taste for the early to mid 90s, that grunge explosion, the alternative music explosion, Marco was just massive. It was like must listen here in Seattle. So it's kind of cool to hear one of your radio heroes gets a a role in a movie that'll be coming out soon.
Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned some names there. I didn't recognize any of them either, as you would imagine. But did you say Pete Holmes, the former city attorney?
Yes, that's exactly who. That Pete Holmes,
the Seattle city attorney.
Of course,
that's who you're talking about.
That's the Pete Holmes we're all thinking of.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, well, that's interesting. I didn't realize that coming out of city government, he became an actor.
Yeah. Or it might be the other guy who's been in popular culture for the past 25
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Sorry. What?
I'm surprised you even knew what grunge music is, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that filtered down I-5 to Portland when it came out.
Okay.
Right?
It did. That was a long time ago. 1996. 1996. I was the student news director at KGRG. I think it was August of 96. I think I do have like some audio of one of my very first newscasts. We should play that like 30 years later.
Wow.
That might be interesting to listen to.
Well, maybe for you.
Yeah. It's for everybody, Sully.
This is about Charlie's interest, right? Not the listeners being interested.
Who would love to hear a Sully newscast on whatever station you were in Portland 30 years ago?
Well, in 1996, you had probably heard me doing the University of Oregon football postgame show.
Yeah,
at KXL.
I would listen to that.
That was the year they made it back to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 50 years. Kind of at the beginning of when things turned sour for you folks up in Montlake. And you started losing to the Ducks.
David,
a lot.
Restrain yourself, David. David might get violent with you here in the studio.
And it was a year before I got married. That's a long time. You're right. That's a long time.
It's the year I was born.
Wow. Look at that.
Time to check traffic now. Sully, what's going on?
Yeah, trying to have some fun today. We've got a lot of heavy things on our minds here in the studios we talked about earlier in the hour. And, of course, we've got a fatal crash investigation, which is kind of dominating the news right now. Southbound 525, the Mukilteo Speedway, continues to be blocked at Beverly Park Road there, right at the south end of Payne Field. It's a hit and run involving a motorcycle. The car that is involved took off. I'm waiting for updates from the State Patrol on this, but big investigation there impacting both directions of 525. Once you get over to the freeways, kind of a standard Tuesday for all of us. Very heavy on southbound I-405, through Totem Lake now. Still an hour and 20 from Everett to Bellevue, an hour and 20 Everett to Seattle. Valley Freeway is getting better. Whatever we had in Auburn appears to be taking care of itself. Back to 45 minutes there. Renton to Bellevue, still about 40, maybe a little under, depending on how you hit it at I-90. Federal Way to Seattle, back under an hour, but not by much. Lake bridges are still in fine shape. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, Electrical. Home Comfort Alliance repairs first, replacing only if it makes sense. Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com.
Sunny this afternoon, a high in the upper 70s. Right now, it's 61 in Seattle. Coming up, Jillian Raftery with a report on a new communication plan from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. That's straight ahead on Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, 3 to 7.
Katie Wilson, people still blasting away at her. There's a great, crazy play called The Actor's Nightmare. And the play goes this way. The actor is standing backstage, and all of a sudden, the stage manager goes, "You're on." And he walks into the scene. He didn't show up at any rehearsals, and he's just there, center stage. And the nightmare is, I have no idea what my line is.
Watch live or later on the John Curley Show's YouTube channel.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20-plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's experts recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
The Black Crowes, live in the Tulalip Amphitheater, Sunday, August 30th. Tickets are on sale now. Details at TulalipCasino.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Carrie injured her back years ago. This is her story.
My herniated disc was so significant that they did the first surgery, the laminectomy and a microdiscectomy. The first surgery failed, and I ended up with another herniated disc, which is pretty typical that herniations just move up your spine. The doctor was recommending another fusion surgery, so I researched alternative therapies. Sound Pain Solutions developed a plan that included bioelectric therapy, laser therapy, decompression, pressure wave therapy, in addition to rehab. Once we started that comprehensive approach, it went phenomenally. They honestly have given me my life back, and I'm happy to help other patients find sound pain solutions sooner.
Schedule a free consultation to learn if you qualify for our non-surgical and drug-free treatments at soundpainsolutions.com.
It's Olympic Hot Tub's 49th birthday, and you get the gifts. Big savings on saltwater hot spring spas, plus free Bluetooth music and interest-free financing for 3 years. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Hi, how can I help? Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager. I see. Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning? Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better. I feel better already. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 8:31. When 3 people were killed at the Bite of Seattle, the public waited almost 5 hours to get the all clear. Now, Mayor Katie Wilson is ordering an investigation of what happened. KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Raftery covered that tragedy live on the scene, and she's here now with the update.
Charlie, this is an issue that's resulted in a huge amount of finger pointing and even factored into the forced resignation of Police Chief Sean Barnes. Now the mayor's office is ordering the city inspector general to investigate in the communication failures that happened that day, because besides a short post on X warning people about a shooting, about when it happened, police in the city did not come out with anything else, like you said, for 5 hours. Reporters waited outside the crime scene tape demanding answers and just got this, waiting for dignitaries.
Well, we have the public that wants to be done.
Those dignitaries, Mayor Wilson, Governor Ferguson, and Congresswoman Jayapal, denied being the reason for the delay. And when pressed, Mayor Katie Wilson later said this.
As soon as we coordinated with SPD and agreed that it was time to talk to the media, as soon as we knew that we were going to be doing that, I and Governor Ferguson and Congresswoman Jayapal arrived on the scene within minutes.
But police union president Kent Liu said this.
For being honest, when the mayor's office stepped into it, I think that's when kind of this mishandling happened. You know, the delay in press conference, I do think there's more to the story about waiting for dignitaries.
The thing is, we've both covered mass casualty events, and there's generally not this long a wait.
Especially when it couldn't be confirmed whether there was an all clear or not. Thousands of people had evacuated the Seattle Center. They were crammed into different nearby businesses, and Seattle police were unfortunately unable or unwilling to say whether it was safe to go home.
And there were a lot of other things at play, too. For example, the emergency alert system alert Seattle didn't go out with a text message warning people away from the area. A lot of people kept showing up, which could have interfered with operations if there had been an ongoing wide-ranging search. That lack of information, there was misinformation. And for a lot of those 5 hours, there were families who were waiting to talk to police about getting things like car seats back from that taped off zone, and they ultimately just had to wait and then come back in the following days.
Quick note that we have the interim police chief, Andre Sales, is going to present some of the findings into that response. That's at 9:30 this morning, so we'll be on top of that.
And I will be covering that.
Time to check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
And we are looking at a relatively normal drive as we work our way around at this point. The only issue that we have is off the freeways, and it's a bad one, and it's a sad one. It's a continued hit-and-run fatal investigation of southbound 525 involving a motorcyclist there at the south end of Payne Field. We are looking at the brake lights in both directions there. This is a long-term investigation. There's a detour in place, and a lot of the traffic has kind of moved through there, and I think the word is out so that people, if they're trying to get back and forth to the ferry, can use 526, the Boeing freeway to get around it. Then you get down to Linwood, and you've got kind of the normal drive there, about an hour from Linwood to Seattle or Linwood to Bellevue. Looking at Federal Way to Seattle, still about an hour, maybe a little under, depending on how you hit it. The drive up through South Center has gotten better. Valley Freeway still stuck at about 50 minutes, with 25 of those minutes from Auburn. Renton to Bellevue's 40. Lake Bridges, both of them in the westbound direction, are seeing some slowing as you get over to the I-5 side of things. But other than that, we're relatively okay. This report brought to you by Harborstone Credit Union. Open a money market special online with 3.75 annual percentage yield, full access to your money. Harborstone.com/money market, insured by NCUA.
Sunny this afternoon, a high of 77 in Seattle. It's 60 right now.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
A big announcement yesterday from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg about the company's future AI developments. It's a Tech Tuesday. Let's get the latest from ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky. Mike, Zuckerberg published an essay about this yesterday. What's the gist?
Yeah, the idea here is that Mark Zuckerberg is outlining his idea for the best way to roll out artificial intelligence in the future. He calls this essay, "The Future is for Everyone." The basic idea being sharing is caring. AI should be in the hands of as many people as possible. It should be able to be free and easy to use. As a result of this, they also launched a bunch of new open models that, anyone can go in and tinker with. They're relatively lightweight. You can run them on a laptop, and you can modify them to suit your own personal use cases. So there's a lot of different elements to exactly how that's going to work, but that's kind of like their foundation, to this argument. They also talk a lot about like the social cost here, right? Not just, these models should be cheap to use, but we've seen huge pushback socially to a lot of the artificial intelligence infrastructure that's been built out, data centers and that type of thing. Well, Meta says they're going to invest in energy generating infrastructure wherever they put up a data center. The idea being to give some low cost energy back to those communities to help alleviate some of that sort of social cost, basically fix the PR crisis that AI has been going through. They're also investing in local police and fire departments where data centers have cropped up from Meta. Trade programs where you can learn a skilled trade to help build data centers. Those are transferable skills. They're really, kind of pitching this as a way for Meta to be like the good corporate steward in the AI race, though it remains to be seen, guys, whether this will actually vaunt Meta to the top of the industry. The likes of OpenAI, Anthropic, increasingly Chinese companies like Moonshot are really advanced and really powerful. And Meta's always kind of found itself slightly below the frontier there. So we'll have to see if this kind of shift in strategy makes sense for them, as they also contend with the larger existential threats facing the AI industry and their own sort of internal problems. Yesterday, the same day that Meta published this big essay, a judge denied Meta's appeal over, the addiction of their platforms and whether their platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive. So they've got a lot of problems to figure out, but Meta says they've got this new strategy that's going to, vaunt them into this kind of next technological revolution.
So we know Meta loves monetizing every single thing about you on Facebook, on Instagram, on many of their other platforms. What's in it for them if this is an open source model?
Yeah, the kind of blue sky thinking of this is that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Once we reach this level of super intelligence or artificial general intelligence where the technology becomes greater than the capabilities of the human brain, then we're just going to live in this era of abundance and no one's going to have to work anymore and we're going to cure cancer. And like they are making big promises about what the future of this sort of artificial intelligence revolution will give you. There are many reasons to be skeptical of that, but they say that that is kind of the goal here. Meta says the fastest way to get there is by having a rising tide lift all boats, essentially, by making their technology available to everyone. That means that not just Meta engineers are working on kind of what this technology can do, pushing it to its limits, seeing what applications are out there. They're making it available to everyone, right? Any, independent engineer or developer can tinker around with Meta's models, push it forward, tailor it to their own use cases, build apps, build programs. Again, it's an interesting strategy, right? This is the strategy that we've seen China's models really start to employ in a very wholehearted way. Moonshot, Alibaba, DeepSeek are all Chinese AI companies that have really pushed open models, the open concept of models, whereas, the leaders in the American industry, Anthropic and OpenAI, have pushed back on that. They want the information to be proprietary to them. They want to win the AI race over the Chinese equivalents of their models. So it's an age-old debate in Silicon Valley whether things should be open source or closed source. Meta is very much putting itself on one side of that debate in the hopes that eventually we'll get to that kind of era of abundance. But so far, guys, no one's made money on AI yet. This is a deeply unprofitable industry. Meta, as we said, is facing its own sort of internal struggles with its core social media business. There's a lot of reasons to raise your eyebrows about this.
That's ABC tech reporter Mike Dubusky. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
We're going to take a look at the slowing we have on southbound 5 and 405 pulling away from Linwood. We'll break it down next.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from The G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear the John Curley Show, 3 to 7.
Data centers, good, bad. Cleellum deciding they're going to put a moratorium on it, and they'll set them up somewhere else. Yes, it's only 70 jobs, but if you could tax the hell out of the place, kick out some money, believe me, a little town of Cleellum, my little town, could certainly use it. Sometimes people just don't want it in their own backyard. They're driven by their own selfishness.
Watch live or later on the John Curley Show's YouTube channel.
It's 8:43 now. We check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Well, we're starting to see a little bit of improvement with our travel times across the board as most of the commute has kind of moved through. Still not there for a lot of places, but if you're coming up the I-5 corridor from Olympia through Tacoma to Seattle is really not all that bad. It's only 35 minutes to Tacoma, and you're really not going to hit the brakes at any significance all the way up until you get to about the beginnings of Boeing Field. And from there on up, it is pretty heavy, but the kind of the standard stuff. We're back under an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Looking at the Valley Freeway, getting much better in Auburn. It's not bad at all through Puyallup and Sumner, but at the north end, it's still pretty heavy. So 25 minutes to run from Auburn, maybe a little over 45 all the way. The Renton S-curve still very active, very slow all the way up, almost now all the way into Factoria, and then a little bit of a gap, but not much, as then you hit the normal stuff getting into South Bellevue. Across the lake, both lake bridges westbound are not bad. There's some westbound slowing through Montlake on 520. I-90 is cleared out after a little stall we had right there by the tunnel. The eastbound direction, though, is a little heavy through the tunnel as well. I'm looking to see if there might be something there. Hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue, kind of the standard stuff for you guys. And we continue to work with the closure of southbound 525, the Mukilteo Speedway, right there south end of Payne Field. This is a fatal hit-and-run crash investigation involving a motorcycle. All southbound lanes of 525 are blocked. A couple of northbound lanes are blocked as well for this investigation. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Sunny conditions this afternoon, a high of 77 in Seattle. Tomorrow, maybe a few more clouds, a high of 75. Weekend looking sunny and warm. Right now in Seattle, it's 61. G. Scott is on the way next. He's going to talk about what makes you a true Northwest local. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. Be the someone who gives their time. Be the someone who lends an ear. Be the someone who takes a step. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN, asking you to join the fight against sexual violence and volunteer in your community. Log on to RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org, to learn how you can be the someone.
This message brought to you by the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network and this station.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
And here he is joining us from the G and Ursula show every weekday, 9 to noon here on KIRO Newsradio. Of course, the Reset podcast. Can we talk about the tickets at the end?
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk about that. We want to talk about the Seattle Times FYI guy, Gene Balk. He has a new survey about what makes someone a local here in the Northwest.
Random.
Yeah.
Gene Balk, Danny Westneat. Have you ever seen him in person?
Yeah. I think Danny Westneat has come by the station a couple of times.
No way.
I have not seen him in real life, only on the video feed.
This might sound crazy, but I'm like huge fans of them both. But I don't believe they really exist.
It's kind of like Jimothy. You've heard that online conspiracy that Jimothy.
Yeah, the fact that you put Jimothy in the conversation makes me want to focus on what we're talking about. Speaking of.
Yes.
What does it take to actually call yourself someone that is a Pacific Northwest local? The Seattle Times looked at a new survey, Gene Balk and them, looked at a new survey asking people what it really defines somebody that is from this region. No, it's not just somebody who just pulls up to REI and buys clothes and stuff like that. No. According to the results, 77% of Seattle and Portland area residents believe that you need to live here at least half of your life.
Okay.
So, I'm not great at math, but let me try it. If you're 40, you need to have been here 20 years. If you're 50,
let's not talk about it.
You need to be here 25 plus years. If you moved here at 30 and you're only 50, you on probation. So that was a conversation. Now, let's have fun. I figured out, let's talk about some things to make you look around and be like, oh, that person's not local. Things that you say, right? It's Pike Place Market, not Pikes. Like, by the way, I still been saying, I just, for some reason, I cannot drop the S.
Gee.
I know. I'm not going to lie. Can they say Puyallup?
Puyallup.
It'd be a tough one. If they're from the Midwest, like me, it took me years to realize it is not Des Moines. Right?
Yeah. I had this conversation with my kids the other day.
It's Des Moines, Iowa, right? Not Des Moines down there close to Tequila and everything.
Des Moines.
Des Moines. Can they say Squim? It's not Sequim.
Yeah.
Like I used to, when I first moved here, I was like, oh, yeah. I've never been to Sequim. It's Squim. Can you say Mukilteo? Can you say Tulalip? Can you say Steilacoom? Can you say Snohomish? So if you can get through those words, you're local.
One of the things that I remember when Greg Nichols was mayor, this is probably in your early years of living here, they used to give the guy grief because he was born in Chicago, moved here when he was 5, but there was this thing that he wasn't a true local because it was like 5 or 6 that he had spent those years. He was still kind of an outsider. So if it's only half your life now, maybe things are improving.
I will say the Pacific Northwest, I think the test here is easy to pass for you to become local. I think a lot of people are just like, there's so many people that have just transplants that are, come here. And a lot of times they're like, oh, you've been here 10 years? Oh, yeah, you're a local, right? Where I'm from in the Midwest, I'm in Chicago, it is so hard. Like, it is extremely hard. This is how the conversation will go. Let's just say, oh, hey, Charlie, nice to meet you. Oh, how long you been here? Been here 25 years? Oh, okay. Where'd you go to school? So soon as you say, where'd you go to school? And you say, oh, I didn't. You're done. Or, oh, hey, Harger? I don't know any Hargers at all. Where'd your grandmama stay?
See someone putting ketchup on a hot dog?
So here's the thing about that. Okay, let me just tell you something. Now, in Chicago, the Chicago that you guys go and visit, the tourists and all that stuff, look, there's different Chicagos, all right? Like, there's a lot of times there's different cities. I would love to tell you that I don't put ketchup on hot dogs.
Gee, no, don't say it.
What? Are you kidding me? Hot dogs, white bread, ketchup. What you talking about? That's what we did. Now, you getting fancy, you got some money to go get those hot dogs with all of the sauerkraut and all that, the buns and all that.
You might as well just eat the ketchup straight up because that's the dominating flavor then. Once you put ketchup on a hot dog, that's the only thing you're tasting is the ketchup.
That's the thing, though. You understand? Ketchup was everything to us. It was on a hot dog. Sometimes I put ketchup and made a wish sandwich. You know the wish sandwich? Wish you had something in between these bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, ketchup has come through. Ketchup on eggs. Look, why do you think Red Hot, whoever is the inventor of Red Hot that came out and said we put that stuff on everything, they grew up with ketchup because they put that stuff on everything. Ketchup is universal. You know what I mean?
I'm shocked in terms of Washington or Pacific Northwest natives. No one's mentioning the one true test, which is, do you use an umbrella?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, and I think that if you still use an umbrella here, you're not a local.
Yeah. Quickly, you have the Reset podcast, and there's a Seahawks ticket giveaway.
Yeah, every week this year on the podcast, go and subscribe to the Reset every week, every home game, regular season home game. I am going to be giving away a pair of tickets to a home Seahawk game. So make sure you're a subscriber. Go there, find out how the details, because this is one of those where it's not, you actually have to think about someone else. So it's been fun. Go fill out the form.
And one way you can tell if you're a local, you're wearing a Seattle Storm jersey.
Hey.
Look at that. Yeah, look at that. If you're watching the YouTube live feed, nice fit, G.
They got to win.
And if you're a local, if you know, hey, I need help with traffic, who do I call?
Well, wait, and you call Manda, actually, and what does she say? Oh, she's on the phone right now?
What do you say?
She says, oh, you got to excuse G.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
She's got G and Ursula coming up 9 to noon here on KIRO News Radio. Sully, take it away.
Well, I got to check things on the 5 right now. Really? Nothing? Nothing?
Oh, the 5.
Checking things on the 5.
Oh, the 5, like California.
I'm from California. No, I'm not. No, I am not. Yeah, that'll give you away like that. We're looking at big slowing on southbound 5 as you work your way from Shoreline down through Seattle. Hour drive away from Linwood still. Over an hour from Linwood down to Bellevue. It's really heavy down through Totem Lake as well. Northbound 5, we've got about a 55-minute trip Federal Way to Seattle. Eastbound West Seattle Bridge really jammed up. Renton to Bellevue is about 40 minutes. The lake bridges are okay. Still 50 from Puyallup to Renton. And we continue to work with the closure of southbound 525 right there at the south end of Payne Field in Mukilteo for this fatal crash. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
We have sunshine this afternoon, a high of 77 in Seattle. Coming up on the G and Ursula Show, former King County Sheriff Sue Rahr will join the show. That's next on KIRO News Radio.
Holy smokes! The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat is.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we make protecting your home simple and affordable. With flexible financing and 20-plus years of trusted service, you can count on lasting quality from Guardian. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
A lot of businesses are gearing up for a busy summer, and that means choosing a bank with the accounts, tools, and services you need to be successful. The right bank can make a big difference, right, Brad?
It sure can, Dave. And WaFd Bank can help with business checking, loans, credit cards, and so much more. WaFd Bank is also an SBA preferred lender of choice, so you can grow with confidence.
Yeah, but what about when you need help with something? Is there a real person who's available and who knows how to help?
Absolutely. Our friendly and knowledgeable local bankers are ready and waiting to help you with whatever your business might need. From day one, our bankers get to know you and your business to build a strong foundation for future success. This especially helps when it's time to apply for loans and to spot gaps in your business operations, so we can recommend the services that would be most helpful.
Which is exactly why we say WaFd has you covered. To learn more, visit wafedbank.com or stop by your local branch. Discover why they were awarded Best Bank 3 years in a row. WaFd Bank, built for business. Member FDIC, loans subject to credit approval.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Keep summer outside where it belongs. Save $588 on every window and $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Claim your free quote today, plus 12 months no payments. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
The Boeing Classic welcomes the world's greatest golf legends to the Pacific Northwest, August 14th through the 16th at the Club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Watch Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers compete for a $2.3 million purse at the only PGA Tour champion stop in the region. Bring the whole family and make sure to check out the Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BoeingClassic.com to get yours today.
Are you looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, ranging from the low 500s to the high 1 millions, D.R. Horton has the right home at the best value for you. Your new home is within reach, so what are you waiting for? Learn more about the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. Visit drhorton.com and schedule a tour today. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Is your car's AC blowing warm air? Don't sweat it. Right now, save